Showtime Primetime.
It's XL Primetime, featuring Joe C.,
Why in the world am I sitting back and being quiet about this?
Matt Hayes,
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Mia O'Brien,
My nose just decided to start bleeding.
and Leon Searcy.
Now you're just talking tomfoolery.
Yeah. Oh, this is no tomfoolery. This is serious business. This is the media mock draft. 2 decades worth of this media mock draft. Welcome in XL Primetime, taking the baton from Jaguars today on a very important day. Golf Club of Southampton brings you Wednesdays right here on XL Primetime, but we're just basically keeping the flow going, okay? We're going to go from the first half of the draft to the second half of the draft and finish with a total of 31 first-round selections, including your Jacksonville Jaguars selecting 24th overall.
Hey, I wonder who,
Mr.
yeah,
Dan Hicken.
You stole my line. I was going to ask who is making the pick.
Yeah, Mr. Dan Hicken. And so, look, I don't know whether he knows anything more than anybody else does, but we're going to give him the stage because
Of course
he demanded
does.
it.
He's a road scout.
Yeah, he's a road scout. He demanded it. And so he's going to jump in there and give us the pick. And we've got Coach Campo making a pick for the Dallas Cowboys. We've got a handful of other ones that we will do today. But just real quick before we get everything rolling again, just a little bit of a feel for what has happened. Bryce Young goes number 1. He is headed to the Carolina Panthers. The Mac Attack was able to make that. And then Will Anderson was the next guy off the board. And as you all talked about, we all reacted after Will Levis did not hear his name called
During
in the first half of
Jaguars,
the media mock draft.
Awful.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't know whether he's going
The
to free
dude
fall.
has a cannon.
Yeah. I don't know whether he's going to free fall or not. As Mike Dempsey was leaving, because he's still doing the fantasy forecast and all that stuff, he still believes that he will go earlier than where we are
And
right
also,
now.
it's worth noting we do not have trades in the media mock draft. And so that's obviously probably a big reason why, maybe there's a quarterback needy team out there that would have built up some capital in the back half of their draft class and then would have traded back in.
Yeah. Now, positionally, we'll take a look at this too, Matt, because you've got a handful of guys. And I think as we get closer and closer to 24, you want to see those quarterbacks come off the board because what does that do? That keeps pushing down more and more talent at other positions, which is what Jacksonville wants. Coach Campo's already been taking a close look at the first half of the draft, and he said there's still plenty of talent left when we get to 24. Now, we haven't gotten there yet. We don't know exactly who it's going to be, but, thoughts so far as what you've seen come off.
Joey Porter Jr. is still on the board.
Mhm.
That's my big thought.
Yep.
Number 1. Number 2, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker. Going 16 overall. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was, when the season ended, second or third rounder, they were thinking, okay?
Right.
But I think
Because of the injury as well.
Because of the ACL, as much as anything. But I think the more they delved into his game tape, which, again, it's always your tape is your resume, I think you see a guy that can win games in the NFL, a guy that can start in the NFL and win games in the NFL. So, again, it's a quarterback league. We all know that. So if you've got a guy that you think can win games in the league, you go pick him.
Yeah, quarterbacks make you do crazy things. They really do. They make you get the feeling you got to get them, and they could be that special guy. So as you go through it, you got Tyree Wilson, who went after Will Anderson. C.J. Stroud was the 4th pick overall, going to the Indianapolis Colts. So he's inside the AFC South. Jalen Carter, for what it's worth, media mock draft. We talked, how far back are we going? February with the Combine, right around the Combine news, that there was that charge against him for racing. And we wondered if he'd tumble. Well, at least the media mockers say, no, he's not getting out of the top 5. So Jalen Carter, and then followed by Witherspoon, Gonzalez, Robinson. Bijan Robinson, a little bit of a high pick, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a high pick, although in all the mock drafts I've listened to nationally, people believe outside of the quarterback position, he is the best offensive player in this class, might even include the quarterback position for that matter.
Right.
And so for teams that perhaps, like the Eagles, obviously went to a Super Bowl last year, their roster doesn't have as many holes, and they have the luxury of having a first-round pick, worth considering.
Yeah. Well, if you feel like you have a lot, I totally get the pick. If you don't, I'm looking at Dio, and I love that guy, Orlando Ledbetter. I mean, that guy knows his Falcons football. He knows the NFL. It just feels like a big reach to me. It really does, with a team that really doesn't have a whole lot necessarily that they can say is their calling card.
But
Right now-
is it because the position? Is that
Yeah,
why you
it's
feel that way?
totally because of the position.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm fine with
He's a
that.
talented
I'm fine with that.
player.
But he's a really talented guy. I wouldn't take him that high, but if you're the Falcons and you feel like, all right, we like what we got at quarterback with Ritter, we like what we got, obviously, with our tight end, Kyle Pitts, and you start adding pieces around Ritter. Now you're adding another piece around him.
Don't forget they drafted a wide receiver at number 8 overall last year as well.
Right. And then the year before, the big pick with the tight end position.
Right. So you're kind of putting pieces around him to make Ritter successful.
I just think when Arthur Blank says that Desmond Ritter's their guy, his nose grows, and he even convinced Calais Campbell that they could get to a 13-win.
I mean, we're now season. It's now late April, and guess what? Ritter's still their guy.
All right, Nolan Smith came off the board. We were wondering when AR would come off the board. He goes to the Houston Texans, and at least there was definitely some style with John Harris's pick, saying that AR is going to come into Duval and wreck the Jaguars' hopes for taking the AFC South. So we got all of them set up in the first half. Lucas Van Ness comes off the board, goes to the Green Bay Packers, another big lineman going to the Patriots, and then back-to-back picks as far as the line are concerned. And then Hendon Hooker just went with the Washington Commanders. So are we ready to crank it up? JJ, give us that sound, that feel. Let's get our media mock draft, the second half, rolling as we welcome in with the Pittsburgh Steelers pick, Ray Fittipaldo. He joins us from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Ray, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We just kind of rattled through the first half of the draft and getting ready for the second half, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, with you making the selection, are going to start us off. So give us just a quick feel for what you think the Steelers are thinking at this point in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the draft, they have three big needs in my mind. They need an offensive tackle, they need a defensive lineman, and they need a cornerback. So I think the pick at 17 is going to be one of those three positions, and we'll see on Thursday night how the board falls.
All right, now they went and they reached for a quarterback last year. They feel like they got good results out of him. So let's go ahead and make the selection, Ray, and give us an idea of the reasoning behind the selection.
Well, with the top four tackles off the board and with Lucas Van Ness off the board, I'm going to go with Joey Porter Jr. here, cornerback out of Penn State. I think he's among those top three corners in the draft, and a lot of the mock drafts that you do see, he's gone by 17. So in this scenario, with Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski, and Paris Johnson off the board, as well as Lucas Van Ness, I will go with Joey Porter Jr.
All right, there we go. Ray has made the selection. Ray Fittipaldo at RayFit1, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette covering those Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank you very much, Ray.
You got it, guys. Anytime.
Love the pick.
Yep.
Love the pick because the Steelers like to
get
get pressure, and you're going to leave Porter out there on his own. He's a big dude. He's a long guy, and he can run. It's I love the pick. I think it's fantastic.
I think the Steelers fans and the Porter family, Matt Hayes, will really like that pick.
Absolutely.
Obviously, it's a legacy pick there.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
They would be sprinting to the podium in that situation.
And, still in the played Penn State, but still, as you said, a legacy guy. All right, let's find out more from Andrew Gibson with our draft profile.
Penn State cornerback Joey Porter Jr., 6'2.5", 193 pounds. Porter Jr. was a first-team Big Ten All-Conference player in 2022, earning him the Nittany Lions Most Valuable Defensive Player Award with 11 pass breakups and 10 starts. He is the son of former Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Joey Porter.
Yeah, that part, that legacy part that you mentioned, what's not to like about that part of the decision? I watched Welcome to the NFL Rookie or Welcome Rookie to the NFL, whatever it was, a little bit on him, and dude commands attention. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and I think that for a Steelers team that missed the playoffs a season ago, and obviously that never happens with Mike Tomlin as their head coach, it'll be curious to see them going defense, knowing the full well that that's how they've built their team over the past 20 to 30 years, but also knowing they want to surround Kenny Pickett, who by many accounts, he's not Trevor Lawrence, how they want to surround him with weapons. They've already gotten a step in the right direction by obviously Najee Harris, George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, so they do have pieces, but I would expect them to then follow up that Joey Porter Jr. pick in the second round with drafting another elite wide receiver to pair for Kenny Pickett.
I mean, the legacy to me is icing on the cake. I think he's the best corner in the draft.
Right.
So, I think they're getting a great player if he falls all the way to 17.
Part that you also said, just the length, the size, the athleticism, the speed, all that stuff. And it's funny because,
and he's done it at a high level at Penn State.
Yeah, and, look, we can argue back and forth conference to conference, excuse me, who's facing the best defenses or trying to deal with the best offenses. We can take shots at the Big Ten if we want, but Joey Porter, he definitely was on lock most of the time. All right, so we move on. Let's welcome in another one of our Media Mock Draft members. He is a regular, and he's going to make the pick for the Detroit Lions. Saying hello to Dan Miller, play-by-play voice of the Detroit Lions. Welcome in, Dan. Always good to catch up. And just how are things up in Detroit? What's the vibe and how's the feel?
They're good. With 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, I think they feel like they have a big opportunity this weekend and 5 picks in the first 3 rounds to really improve this football team over the next couple of days. So there's excitement for that and the understanding that these opportunities don't come along very often. So, like everybody else, just trying to read the tea leaves and figure out what's going to happen in front of them and give you a better idea of what exactly will be available to them at that point.
Now, Dan, just to catch up our listeners who may have missed the first half of our Media Mock Draft during Jaguars Today, you selected Devin Witherspoon with that number 6 overall pick in the first round. What went into that choice, and how much of a need is corner for the Lions right now?
Well, I think that depending upon what happens in front of them, with those 3 defensive linemen being gone, and I don't know if Carter's on their board or not. I don't know if they would take him if he's even sitting there, but I'm sure that Wilson and Anderson would certainly fit in if more quarterbacks go towards the top and those guys drift down. But with those 3 being gone, along with 2 quarterbacks, for the Lions at this point, you're looking at a cornerback situation where you don't have an immediate need, but you will have a need next year. You have 2 corners on 1-year contracts in Emmanuel Mosley and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And if those guys have good years, it's going to cost you $12 to $16 million to re-sign them. So the way I look at it is if you believe that either Gonzalez or Witherspoon at the top of that cornerback pack are legitimate starters in this league, then you might be looking at 2024 and also a guy that could come in and help you a little bit right now. So I think that's what went into it. Offensive line would be a dark horse type pick with the possibility that they could lose an offensive lineman this coming season in Jonah Jackson, who's going to be a free agent, and I just don't know how many of their offensive line they could pay. But keep in mind, this team is pretty much built around this offensive line. So I think if Skoronski's sitting there and those 3 top defensive linemen are gone, it would be something that they would look at. But I just kind of settled on Witherspoon, and it's a fit in a draft where I don't know if the perfect guy is sitting there for them at 6. And frankly, with what you've left me here on the board at 18, I don't know if the perfect guy's sitting there either.
All right, so now with that said, now you do have to make the selection, Dan Miller, play-by-play voice / now GM for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here, guys, and with what happened with Jameson Williams last week and him being 6 games gone, wide receiver is a possibility I think they'd look at. I just don't know if you really value anybody that fits the mold of what they'd be looking for at wide receiver. Johnson's got the drop issues. There might be some problems there that they would want to overlook. And I think that certainly as you look at some of the other receivers that are available in this draft, they're smaller guys, and I don't know if that fits. So I went with Kalijah Cansey out of Pitt. They do have a need in the middle of that defensive line for somebody. Feel like it might be a little bit of a reach there, but that's the guy that I would settle on. Having drafted a corner at number 6, knowing that you signed 3 guys for the secondary and free agency already, other thought would be maybe a tight end because you're sitting there with those top guys on the board as well, and they don't have a projected solid number 1 starter at tight end. So if they felt like there was value there with a Mayer or a Kincaid, that might be a position they'd look at. But for the purposes of this mock draft, after all that explanation, I'll take the defensive tackle out of Pitt.
All right, listen, we love it. We appreciate it. At some point, we definitely want to gather again because Campbell definitely made his mark second half of that season. I bet that was a lot of fun. We appreciate it, man, for sure. We'll talk to you soon, Dan.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Dan Miller, play-by-play voice for the Detroit Lions. And they did have all sorts of momentum in the second half. So let's hear a little bit more about the Lions selection.
Pittsburgh defensive tackle Kalijah Cansey, 6'1", 281 pounds. 2022 was a banner year for the Pitt defensive tackle. Cansey was a first-team All-American and was named the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. He led the Panthers with 14.5 tackles for loss and 7.5 sacks in 11 starts.
A lot of comparisons to you-know-who.
Mm-hmm. Well, because of where he came from.
And because he's the second All-American since him.
It's not all that either, but he's also similar size. He's also
as Aaron
a
Donald,
guy that's, as Aaron Donald. He's also very quick on the interior. He's also a guy that can blow up double teams. He's also a guy that's much stronger than he looks. Just a very, very similar type player.
My question, Matt. Elijah Cansey going at 18. Is that too early for you?
Probably a little.
Yeah, it sounds just a tick.
Probably a little, just a tick. I was thinking more like the mid-20s maybe, early 20s. But if you believe he's that guy, he's that interior disruptor that can move all over the front of your front four or five, whatever it is, whether you're playing odd or even.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, pick him.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's welcome in a first-timer to the 1010XL Media Mock Draft. Selecting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one Evan Klosky, sports director at Channel 10 down in Tampa Bay. Mr. Klosky, welcome into the 1010XL Media Mock Draft. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well, but I'll tell you this. I think I'm getting some rookie hazing because a handful of my picks were taken, especially Cansey, right before. So we had to make a quick little swerve here at the end.
If I could guess, was Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa one of those potential picks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
He was on my list. Bijan Robinson was on my list. Cansey, Darnell Wright. So there are a lot of options there. Honestly, if I was Jason Light in this position, I would be looking probably to move down in the draft and kind of just gather an asset and regroup because people off the top of my board have fluttered away.
Now, for what it's worth, Will Levis is still on the board for all of our listeners that maybe need a rundown of the picks that have been made. So I'm curious, Evan Klosky picking for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the 19th overall pick. You guys select.
Miles Murphy out of Clemson.
Mm-hmm. All right.
For me, I don't think the Buccaneers should be attacking quarterback. Especially with Will Levis, who is going to be thrown into a three-man question mark with what the team has going on right now. You want to see what Baker's got. You want to see what Kyle Trask is. Make that a two-headed monster, and I say that in italics. And then worry about the quarterback position in 2024 and see what you have. But with Miles Murphy, this team needs help on the defensive line. Brutally, interior, on the edge, whatever they can get. When Vita Vea is leading your team in sacks, that is a big old problem. Todd Bowles said that at the draft during the combine earlier this year. So they really need to create some sort of pressure on the quarterback. There's no coincidence that in 2020, when they won the Super Bowl, Shaq Barrett was rattling off sacks and everybody was having success around them. Todd Bowles needs somebody to do this so that he doesn't have to constantly send loads of bodies to the QB, which makes him more susceptible in the secondary. So with Miles Murphy, you get a tremendous edge there to help out Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Shaq Barrett, who is returning from an Achilles injury. We don't know what he's going to do this year. You also have Anthony Nelson, who is a solid player, somebody who gets rotationally put in there. But I believe you restock in that area and you're building up that defensive front, which is probably the biggest weakness in my eyes, right next to needing an offensive tackle.
And after all, you have Kyle Trask. All the Gator fans up here say you're going to be fine at quarterback.
Poised.
Forget about Baker.
Who needs anybody else? You got Trask. Don't worry about it.
Hey, listen, man, thanks. We appreciate it. The beginning of the end when Tommy walked away, who knows what happens. But, look, we've had to deal with that stuff for a while up here. This is the rebirth of Duval and maybe the decline of Champa Bay.
Oh,
who knows?
We won't bring up the lightning for you, Evan. Yeah. Don't worry.
Please do not. It's been rough. All right, we're just very happy to get the off day today that we get to regroup for tomorrow.
As our fellow co-host Matt Hayes, sitting to my left, likes to say, flags fly forever. So it's all good. It's all good. You guys got the ring. Evan, thanks so much for joining the 1010XL Media Mock Draft.
Thank you so much.
There he goes. That is Evan Klosky. You can find him on Twitter at eKloskyWTSP. To run through our first three picks of this half of the Media Mock Draft, Joey Porter Jr. going 17th overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Or, excuse me, 16th overall to the 17. I'm losing numbers. 17 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Elijah Cansey, 18th overall to the Detroit Lions. And then Miles Murphy, 19th overall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Will Levis, quarterback Kentucky, the program remains available on the board.
Let's find out a little bit more about Miles Murphy.
Clemson edge Miles Murphy, 6'5", 268 pounds. Murphy earned first-team All-ACC honors in 2022 by tying for the team lead with 6.5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss in 13 games. Murphy attended Hillgrove High School in Georgia, the same school that produced Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram.
There's some good stock right there.
That's a nice little good note by Gibby, huh?
Yep, little nugget, little saucy nug from Asia Gibbs. We'll continue
Saucy
with
nugs.
our media mock draft as we are getting into the 20s. That means Seattle, L.A., the Chargers, the Ravens, Vikings, and then your Jacksonville Jaguars. Those are all ahead. And by the way, as JJ mapped this bad boy out, one entire segment for one Dan Hicken. He demanded it, and so we're going to make sure we give it to him.
Road Scout.
Golf Club of Southampton bringing you Wednesday's show. Don't forget, call 287-PLAY. Get on the tee sheet this afternoon, and you can have a great time. I'll be out there a little after 5. Joe C., 9 at 5. Call 287-PLAY as we get ready for the next round of picks with our annual media mock draft.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers.
Anytime Fitness Sawgrass is the preferred gym of yours truly, Mia O'Brien. Strengthen everything from calves to confidence.
Wherever you go, there we are.
I know. I checked online.
1010XL is on your smartphone and tablet. Download our free app for all devices and take us with you around Duval and around the world.
Working in the trades industry, going nowhere, sick of dealing with grueling residential install projects and demanding seasonal schedules? Become part of something better. All Weather Contractors wants you to join our multifamily and commercial construction property maintenance team now. Based in Jacksonville, we offer premium pay, bonuses, full benefits, 401k programs, employee stock ownership opportunities, and a culture focused on career advancements and opportunities. Build a better career in the commercial property maintenance industry. Apply online today at allweathercontractors.com. Working in the trades industry, going nowhere, sick of dealing with grueling residential install projects and demanding seasonal schedules? Become part of something better. All Weather Contractors wants you to join our multifamily and commercial construction property maintenance team now. Based in Jacksonville, we offer premium pay, bonuses, full benefits, 401k programs, employee stock ownership opportunities, and a culture focused on career advancements and opportunities. Build a better career in the commercial property maintenance industry. Apply online today at allweathercontractors.com.
April is Head and Neck Cancer Awareness Month. If caught early, this disease can be treated effectively. So take control of your health with the experts at Ackerman Cancer Center. Don't delay. Get screened for any symptoms. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
I'm Dr. Mitchell Yass, the most unknown world-renowned expert on pain elimination. That's right, elimination. If you've tried medications, injections, physical therapy, chiropractic, even surgery, and still experience pain, then say yes to YAS. I have successfully used the YAS method for over 30 years to help thousands reclaim their lives. To learn more, call me at 904-906-YASS. Let's end your pain and say yes to YAS.
Get ready to take your game to the next level at Best Bet. Come and experience the best in card games, top-notch hospitality, award-winning sushi, and nonstop fun at our Jacksonville and Orange Park locations. We've got something fun for everyone. Choose from a variety of exciting poker games, including limits to suit all skill levels. If you're looking to try something new, we offer easy-to-learn games like one-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Pai Gow. You can also place bets on thrilling simulcast races while enjoying delicious food and drinks. See why we're the go-to destination for gaming and entertainment. Go to bestbetjacks.com.
Get your news and notes from the swamp.
Alligators ornery because they got all them teeth.
I'm Taylor Dahl, and I'll bring you the Gator Report to keep you connected to Gainesville.
Wow! Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts on 1010XL.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring salespeople right now. If you want to sell new tech security cameras or home automation, Tyson Sound and Security is looking for you. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring for sales positions, and they will train you to be successful. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. That's 762-1000. Hiring for sales positions right now. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Did you hear what's happening? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are spring cleaning. New inventory on the ground means the old has to go. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the new year by saving thousands on thousands of vehicles priced to sell. New and pre-owned prices have been reduced, and all sales associates have been instructed to give maximum value on all trades. But you better hurry. That's right. Best deals go first. Head to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville to take advantage of the spring cleaning sale. We're here to wow you.
Hicken here. If you're looking for a winning team to clean your carpets and tile, Zero Res, #1 in the country for customer satisfaction, and they were named Franchise of the Year. No surprise to me, I've had Zero Res clean my home for years, and man, there's nothing better than coming home to a clean house by Zero Res. The smell, the look, it's awesome. Right now, get 2 rooms of carpet cleaning, the staircase for $148. Savings of $30. Remember, folks, Zero Res, spell it forwards and backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Your joints are talking to you, right? They're saying, hey, something's not right. You didn't listen because you thought the pain would go away in a week or two, but it's not going away.
Football legend Emmitt Smith knows you've got to listen to your body. Never ignore what it's telling you. And when it sends pain signals, don't wait. Get ahead. Stop it in its tracks with a visit to the nation's leader in joint pain relief.
That's QC Kinetics. Yeah, they are way ahead of the curve in this pain treatment business.
QC Kinetics says no to invasive surgeries and harsh drugs. They've found a better, natural way to relief, using your body's own healing properties that you were born with. And it takes place same day, right in the office during your appointment. No surgeries and no downtime.
Before that pain goes next level, get ahead of it. Go see QC Kinetics. Stop it in its tracks.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies Cold Case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case, plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona to the King of Beers to Stella or a Natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
It's a unique gift idea and a popular way to add fun and personality to any wedding environment. Mystic Cornhole Company builds custom, high-quality boards right here in Jax. Visit the shop on Phillips Highway or check out their designs at mysticcornhole.com.
If you've been injured, your insurance company may try to downplay your pain. I'm Holt Harrell, and making sure that you are compensated is what I do. Don't deal with insurance companies alone. Call me, 251-1111. Harrell & Harrell, offices Jacksonville.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
21st Annual Media Mock Draft right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM, XL Primetime. Joe C., me O'Brien, Matty Hayes. We'll have Big Circe in a little bit later on. Normally he's first half of the show, but he gets to come in and react to all these picks. We've had a few come off the board, and now we go up to the great Northwest, and we're going to find out what the Seattle Seahawks are up to. Let's welcome him, Dave Softy Mahler. He is part of 93.3 KJR up in Seattle. Welcome in, Dave. How are you?
Mock draft day all around sports talk radio in America. I love it. What's going on, boys? How are you?
Hey, we're doing great. And, you know, the thing is we were trying to figure out a way to mock, say, an Anthony Richardson or somebody to learn under the gifted Geno Smith with the season he had last year. That did not happen. So give us an idea of what you're thinking when you look at the picks that have come off the board so far.
Well, I think so far it's working out okay for the Seahawks. I mean, I had my eye on Hendon Hooker, to be honest with you. I think Hendon Hooker is criminally underrated, to be honest with you. The knee injury, the age, that doesn't really deter me a lot, to be totally honest with you. Imagine passing on a guy because you're concerned about what he will look like in 12 years from now or a decade from now. If Hendon Hooker can come in and give somebody a solid 8-9 years of elite-level quarterback play in the NFL, sign me up. I also think the other factor in Seattle is that people need to figure out and decide how much faith the Seahawks have in Geno Smith. Look, for what Geno Smith was asked to do a year ago, I thought he was great. But now you're asking for more. Now you're asking for a championship-level quarterback. Now you're asking for a championship-level offense. And I don't think Geno Smith is that guy. And I don't think the Seahawks either believe that Geno Smith is that guy based on the contract that they gave him. So the factor for me, clearly, guys, going into this year, if you can't find that next quarterback, they have to fix the line of scrimmage. The offensive and defensive lines were an absolute disaster last year. So the fact that Ian Furness, my partner at KJR, already took Jalen Carter at number 5, that's a great start for the Seahawks.
Now, Dave, though, just to set the scene, Will Levis is still on the board for you to pick for the Seahawks here at 20. And with the 20th...
I don't want Will Levis. I don't want Will Levis.
Jump the gun on me. Why is that?
Yeah, I'll give you a little preview. I'm not taking Will Levis, right? Because I just don't think he's very good. You know, I think he's got the prototypical body for the NFL quarterback, but every time I turned on the SEC Network, guys, and I watched Will Levis play, I was massively underwhelmed. Now, some of that's unfair to him because you look at the quality of offensive line, the quality of skill players that he had at Kentucky, my God, compare that to what Bryce Young had at Bama, C.J. Stroud, obviously, even Anthony Richardson at Florida. Will Levis in a different system may be a lot more attractive to me, but I would rather take a shot later in the draft on a Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA. You know, a kid like that, for example, maybe even a Jay Kaner. I'm not saying that Jay Kaner is going to be a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL, but you've always got free agency. You always have next year's draft. I don't want to reach for a quarterback just because I think I need one, and I do think the Seahawks need one long term, but Will Levis is not my guy.
All right, Softy, go ahead and make the selection for Seattle with the 20th pick overall.
With the 20th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select John Michael Schmidt, center, Minnesota. They just got the best starting center in the draft. Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl, guys, who runs the Senior Bowl in Alabama. He was on with us on Monday, and he's calling John Michael Schmidt a slam dunk day one starter for Seattle. Well, you guys don't even realize how unbelievably horrid the center position has been in Seattle ever since the Seahawks traded Max Unger for Jimmy Graham about 8 or 9 years ago. It's been an absolute disaster. 2 years ago, they drafted D. Estridge, the wide receiver, who's barely been healthy, and directly behind him, the Chiefs took Creed Humphrey. It's been keeping me up every single night since that day that the Chiefs got an all-pro center, and we got a freaking toy who can't even stay healthy. So I'm putting an end to the nightmare. The Seahawks had an obvious need at defensive tackle. They got it done with Jalen, and they have an obvious need at center, and they got it done with John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. Now I can say John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmitz anytime he comes to Seattle, too, so I'm fired up for that.
I know what you were doing. You were working it into that show material, that's for sure. All right,
that's
Softy.
Right. That's right.
Great stuff, man. We appreciate it. KJR, you can definitely find him at Softy up in the great Northwest, KJR 93.3. Thanks, bud.
All right, guys, take care. Bye.
All right, at Softy KJR, getting it done with John Michael Schmitz, and he will work that. What do you think? I mean, look.
I think Softy's elevator's not going all the way to the top. You know what I mean?
I love it. I
do too, but I mean, you're talking about a third-round pick here.
Yeah.
Is what you're talking about. He's not even the best center in the draft. The best center in the draft is Joe Tippmann from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He's a tough player. He's a mauler. He's a former wrestler. He's short, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot like Tyler Lindenbaum, but he's not the same player as Tyler.
This guy, at the very least, he's considered tall for the center position.
No, Tippmann is at 6'6".
Yeah. Tippmann, they think, could not only
Michael
push
Schmitz.
out to guard, but even
Schmitz
tackle,
is 6'4". Okay, so let's just, at the very least, he is a big man for that position.
He's 290, I think, is what he is. 290, somewhere around there. I don't know. He's also a guy that, when I watch him, I think he's a mauler. He doesn't move well either. He's not that quick.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see what Mike Harmon, our guy out in Los Angeles, thinks as we welcome him on to the 1010XL Media Mock Draft, the 21st installment. Mike, how's it going?
What is going on? Welcome to beautiful Los Angeles. It's overcast. All the lawn crews are out working feverishly because the temperatures are dipping and diving all over the place. So you wouldn't know it by my thermometer head from the sunburn I got the other day.
Well, I tell you what, all we know is that there was a low voltage situation when they came to Duval. That much we do know back in the playoffs in January. Look, man, you got to give us a quick comment on that before we get to the Chargers selection because, I mean, it was an unbelievable game and the best finish you could have imagined on this side of the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately work with a lot of guys that have second jobs as part of the Chargers broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to hear about it for 4 months. Fortunately, they're sucked into Dodgers season and the Lakers being back and all that nonsense right now. But with the draft tomorrow night, no, it was like they brought out their best funeral wear again. They're all just having those remembrances that are causing some problems here.
So real quick then, Mike, what's the vibe in Chargers country? Is it we don't have enough pieces on offense? Is it our defense blew a 27-0 lead? What is the vibe out there right now?
Well, I think you got a little bit of everything. You know, I've been playing armchair GM for many years on the radio, and people are listening to me. The Chargers needed to get rid of their trainer. What did they do? They got rid of their trainer, something I banged the drum on for the Ravens. What did they do? They got rid of their trainer. Rule number one, you need to be available to your squad, something that's been really an issue and why we're going to roll the Dungeons & Dragons 20-sided die to decide which wide receiver tight end we take here. But, you know, you've got Austin Eckler saying, my worst scenario is I go back there. Yeah, that's the attitude you want a guy coming back with. Offensive line, Slater comes back healthy. You know, he and Lindsley. All right, so you got two guys on your offensive line you trust. Will Williams and Keenan Allen be able to get through the bulk of a 17-game slate? I don't know. And obviously defensively, keeping guys upright. You know, we love watching Derwin James play. He's this generation's Bob Sanders. He's fantastic when he plays. Unfortunately, he doesn't. I'm doing my best to be really energetic because I'm following Softy, who is one of my favorite people in the world. Yeah. And he always sounds like he's had like 37 cups of coffee shot through an IV. So I'm trying to keep up with him there.
Well, listen, all I know is we go from Twitter handles at Softy to at Swollen Dome. So you're keeping up, that's for sure. All right, so, Mike, make the selection for the L.A. Chargers.
Well, it's hard to not take Smith and Jigba. He's still there, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's still there.
You guys report on me. Yeah, obviously some questions about where he fits. I don't feel everybody keeps going slot. It's like, well, you got Olave, you got Garrett Wilson. Where the hell else are you going to play? So the key is coming back healthy, gives them a speed option to get after it. And really, there's no wrong choice here. I mean, between the wideouts and tight ends that are still sitting on the board, pushing all the way down, a little bit surprising, I think, to a degree. But you get an elite guy to complement Allen and Williams for when they're there. Got to come back to the tight end position eventually because Gerald Everett was a boomer bust prospect. And Kellen Moore is now your guy in charge. You guys tell me what you think of that.
Well, look, at times that offense looked pretty good, and then there were either, kind of player error or maybe bad play design. But I still think Kellen Moore's a good play caller. I do. All right, listen, man.
They're hopeful. I can tell you that. Yeah. After watching the last couple of years and Justin Herbert waiting for that, all right, it all comes together. This is the year it kind of has to. Otherwise, I think they're going to be starting some hand-wringing over that as well.
Yeah, especially with the head coach probably beginning that discussion. All right,
I'm
Mike.
surprised he's back, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because that's what we were talking about at the end of the game, that they might run him right out of there, but they didn't, so we'll find out what happens. All right, we appreciate it. We have got Jackson, Smith, and Jigba going off the board. Mike Harmon at Swollen Dome, Fox Sports Radio out in L.A. Thanks, bro.
Peace and love. Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy the rest of the mock and, of course, the festivities tomorrow. Take care.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Mike. And so with that selection, the wide receiver room for the Los Angeles Chargers looks like this. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Joshua Palmer, Jalen Guyton, Keelan Doss, John Hightower. Those last four names, you can kind of throw them away now as opposed to having to play prominent roles like they did when the Bolts had to come out here to Duval because Mike Williams was unavailable.
Yeah, and that was a key loss for them. And we all know what happened, as we said. From 27 down to on top, it was something else. All right, let's hear a little bit more about the selection that Mike Harmon and the L.A. Chargers just made 21st pick overall.
Ohio State wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, 6'1", 196 pounds. Smith-Njigba had a historic Rose Bowl performance against Utah in 2021, catching 15 passes for 347 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Jackson, JAX, would have gone nice right here in the city of Jacksonville, but they probably wouldn't have gone down that road. But still, one of the more talented Buckeye receivers. And let me tell you, we all know this. There have been a ton of them that have left Columbus straight into the NFL. Maddie, as good as come out of there, a Garrett Wilson, Olave type receiver that they're getting?
Was better than Garrett Wilson and Olave 2 years ago. And I think that's – the question is, it's the 40 time, which was 4.58 his pro day, and it's how he dealt with the hamstring injury. I mean, at one point in the season, he shut it down, which I don't know why anyone's upset about that, because Jamar Chase shut down an entire year because of the COVID season and still came back. Look at him now, one of the best receivers in the league. He had 1,600 yards 2 years ago at Ohio State.
Oh, he was incredible.
16 while Wilson and Olave were on the field.
Yeah.
That's right now. Scouts are like going back to that. They're like, okay, forget about 22. Let's look at what 2021 was. And he, by the end of the year, he's probably the best receiver in the country at that time.
Yeah, and he went the Nick Bosa route. Nick also did the same thing. Basically decided to
I don't know why you
down.
could ever criticize any player for shutting it down.
All right, let's go from out in L.A. up to Baltimore. Let's say hello to Jeff Zrebeck. He is part of The Athletic covering the Baltimore Ravens. Jeff, welcome in. How are you?
Good. Hey, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. 22nd pick is coming right now for the Baltimore Ravens. Load up on some Lamar talk before we kind of drill down on where you think this team is going. You know, it has just got to be a day-to-day, like, question mark atmosphere up there with Lamar, right?
Oh, yeah, completely. I mean, it's pretty much, I don't want to say a black cloud because I think that would be kind of, a little over-dramatic, but It just has to impact everything they do, every decision they make. From my shoes, he'll put out a tweet that you'll start trying to interpret. I just think everybody's kind of waiting for an ending, wondering how this will end. And maybe the draft will trigger something. It sure seems if some of those teams drafted early in the first round get their quarterback, you just look around the league and it's like, where is the interest coming? Where's the trade offer coming? Where's the suitor that's gonna help get this to resolution? And it's just hard to find.
Well, Jeff, you stole my line. I was going to ask what the smiley emoji and the SpongeBob gif means, because there's some people speculating it could mean a trade for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I mean, I learned long ago that it's probably best not to try to interpret Lamar's vague social media, messages. Most of them mean nothing. Some of them may mean something. It's always tough. And, he hasn't talked to the media really since late November. His inner circle really doesn't talk, and the Ravens are especially, closed off at this time of year, preparing for the draft and when they're dealing with sensitive situation. So, could be anything really. I just hate to kind of act. I know exactly what he's, talking about all the time, because I'd just be speculating.
All right. Well, how about you speculate and make a selection for your Baltimore Ravens?
I think at 22, the Ravens are going to take University of Maryland cornerback Deonte Banks, local kid, Baltimore kid, which makes this a pretty compelling story. But beyond that, they need another cornerback. Marlon Humphrey's there. Marcus Peters is not. It's not looking like at this point he's going to be back. The Ravens need another big, physical, fast outside corner. Deonte Banks has those attributes, and he'd help them immediately. He's the type of guy they could pencil in as a starter right away and feel pretty good that they added another piece to their secondary.
Well, Jeff, we thank you so much for joining the 21st annual 1010XL Media Mock Draft, and we wish you the best of luck in deciphering Lamar's various tweets. And
so does he go? Does he go over the weekend? Is he still there by the time the weekend's over?
I think so, okay. Yeah. I would think he's going to be there, and the franchise tag, he's going to have to make a decision there at some point, whether he's willing to play or he's willing to compromise and take kind of what's being offered.
One way or another, we know you'll have us posted at The Athletic. That's at Jeff Zrebiec. You can check it out at JEFFZREBIEC on Twitter. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
There he goes, and that is the Baltimore Ravens selection, Deonte Banks. Let's learn a little bit more about the Maryland corner.
Maryland cornerback Deontay Banks, 6 foot tall, 197 pounds. Banks excelled in his junior season in 2022, breaking up 8 passes and recording an interception in just 9 starts for the Terrapins.
Just another one of those physical guys on the outside that's long and can run. 4.35 40 at the combine. The team stopped throwing at him.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't throw. He had 2 interceptions his entire career. And it wasn't because he's a guy that's not playing good coverage or he's not breaking up passes.
Right.
They stopped throwing at him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really, really good player.
Well, I know basically a lot of Jaguar fans right now are going, dang, Deontay's off the board. And look, all of Duval, they want to know what's happening with the selection. It's only a couple of picks away. But as we mentioned Duval, let's go to a true Duvaler right now. Let's say hello to our man Greg Coleman up in Minnesota, former sideline reporter and longtime punter for the Minnesota Vikings and an original from Duval. Welcome in, Greg. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks a lot. It's good being here. It's an exciting day for a lot of young men who will change the face of their families and communities for a long, long time.
Yeah, I know that you're beyond football. You're a mentor. You're certainly a guy that can move and motivate people. But up there in Minnesota, what is the thought, Greg, as far as just moving and motivating that team to where they can get back to the postseason?
Well, I think they're a few pieces away from making it to the next step in the into the playoffs. But there's always questions with Adam Thielen now being a part of the Carolina Panthers. There's talk about Dalvin Cook, whether he's going to be moved, and even questions about quarterback Kirk Cousins, even though he had great numbers. So there's a lot of question marks. There's some need in the secondary, but I've got a feeling, a good feeling about who I would take if I'm sitting in that chair.
We'll get to that pick in just a second, Greg. And, of course, we say hello to a Jacksonville native and a Reigns alum. So if you want to give the Vikings a little Ichiban, we totally are on board with that at the end. But I do want to bring up the fact that our intel out of Gainesville says that the Vikings sent more scouts to Anthony Richardson's games this fall than any other NFL team. Obviously, he's off the board in this mock draft, but I am curious how much homework you think the Vikings have done in the quarterback market.
I think they did a whole heck of a lot, again, because of all of the questions surrounding Kirk Cousins, even with great numbers. Quarterback is one of those positions, if you don't have that dog mentality to get your team over the top, they're always looking to who could that person be. So I know that there were a lot of looks at Richardson down at Florida, had a great camp, had a great throw, pro day. So the Vikings are still looking around to see what's available.
Well, let's make it official. Greg Coleman, you're on the clock, and you're going to make the Minnesota selection.
With my pick, I'm going to take wide receiver Quentin Johnson out of TCU. Reminds me a lot of Randy Moss when he came out of college. Big, long, strong. He with Justin Jefferson and KJ Armstrong out of University of Miami. Who are you going to cover? Who are you going to double? So that's my pick.
I love it. Now, real quick before we find out about him and turn you loose, let people in Jacksonville know what you're up to, and if you do make it back here from time to time in town.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm back here and hosting the James Coach Day Scholarship Golf Tournament this Monday over at Eagle Landing. We have a few spots left, scholarships for high school kids in this area. So come on out, and you can go to BHITM22.org, BHITM22.org. Come on out and support a great event.
Love it. We also have some of our listeners on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, Greg, who want to thank you for the great job you did announcing at the Bob Hayes Invitational. So the local crowd, they're following along.
Hey, well, thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys. Take care and have a great day.
Thanks, Greg. Greg Coleman, former punter, and really a Duvaler, which it's great to hear him back here and making an impact, and he definitely does. And you can go to his website, gregcolemanfl.com, and find out everything he's got cooking. Let's find out right now about the selection he just made.
TCU wide receiver Quentin Johnston, 6'3", 208 pounds. Johnston was a first-team All-Big 12 selection in 2022. He was the Horned Frogs' leading receiver in their run to the national title game.
So here's the thing with Big 12 wide receivers, okay? The defense that's played in that league is a lot of off coverage. So there's concern that what does he do when he's getting pressed?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's also a guy that, I mean, he makes great catches, like ridiculous catches. He's like, you know, the Chris Carter, you know, the crazy catches. But does he do the routine? Does he make the routine look easy?
Right.
That's a question, and he's in a conference that plays a high percentage of off coverage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And think about it. When was the last time a Big 12 receiver where you're like, whoa?
Yeah, it's funny because we fought for a long time about whether a Big 12 spread quarterback
Right.
could come in and do the things and now they are. We certainly have seen that, a la Pat Mahomes, and I am trying to think. I'm scratching my head.
Hollywood
Look,
Brown's largely been a disappointment,
But
and
he's also different because he can run like no one could run.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And
But think, I mean, all those Oklahoma teams, any of those receivers,
not as many.
D.D.
You know,
Westbrook, 4th-round pick, and already out of the league from here.
and you can think of
He was a
going back-
Heisman finalist.
Going back to the Crabtree days, you know, there were
Yeah.
guys that you thought would be just super dynamic, and at times he was. But yeah, I mean, it's a point because they stack up points.
I mean,
in
Denzel
the
Mims
Big
is a
12.
perfect example. Everybody thought Denzel Mims would be a great receiver in the NFL, and he's
fought
a guy.
it. Yeah, he really has.
All right.
Productivity.
So a couple of our listeners want us to run through the recap
let's do it
of the
real
media
quick.
mock draft so far. Picks 1 through 23 between our program here and, of course, Jaguars today, who carried the first 16 picks of the 2023 media mock draft. At number 1, the Panthers go with Bryce Young. At number 2, as has been speculated, the Texans do not select a quarterback, and they select Will Anderson. Tyree Wilson at 3 to the Cardinals. C.J. Stroud at 4 to the Indianapolis Colts. The Seahawks select Jalen Carter 5th overall. Devin Witherspoon to the Lions at 6. Christian Gonzalez to the Raiders at 7. Bijan Robinson to the Falcons at 8. Paris Johnson of Ohio State to the Bears at 9. Nolan Smith to the Eagles at number 10 overall. Darnell Wright to the Titans at 11th. Anthony Richardson with the Texans' 2nd pick at 12th overall. Lucas Van Ness to the Green Bay Packers, who now hold the 13th overall pick. Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern to the Patriots at 14. Broderick Jones out to the Jets at that's 15. Hendon Hooker at 16th overall to the Washington Commanders. Josie, you want to run through the rest of ours so far from XL Primetime?
Yeah, once we start with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Joey Porter Jr. goes off the board. Talented player heading up to Pittsburgh from Penn State. Then a Pittsburgh defensive tackle, Kalijah Cansey, going next as he goes to the Detroit Lions. Miles Murphy, edge guy, goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then a little bit of a curveball. Gibby was not prepared for this. John Michael Schwartz, the center, coming off the board. And that's the only draft profile we did not have. But Softy up in Seattle taking him for the Seahawks. And then Jackson Smith and Zigba going to the Chargers. And then Deontay Banks coming off the board going to the Baltimore Ravens. And this last one, Greg Coleman made the selection for Quentin Johnson from TCU going to the Minnesota Vikings. So we've got plenty of good talent left. And we got the Jaguars pick coming up here in just a second.
It's CeeDee Lamb, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretty good
CeeDee
receiver.
Lamb.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
You're talking about maybe 2 or 3 maybe 3 in the last how many years?
Yeah.
Where you're like, yeah, that dude could play.
Yeah. All right, let's get ready. We've reserved some time for this man coming up next. Number 24 in the first round, your Jacksonville Jaguars, and a Duvaller in Danny coming up.
Cruising with XL Prime Time in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Get the latest news on the Jags, Gators, Knowles, and Dogs. Jacksonville Sports Superstation.
Americans love a winner.
1010XL.
Mia O'Brien here for my friends at Duck Duck Rooter. When it comes to plumbing and septic issues at your home or business, you gotta be sure you hire the right company. Don't get burned by some Joe Schmo riding around in an unmarked truck pretending to be a plumber. When you hire Duck Duck Rooter, you get experience and integrity that is backed by the owners. Plus, you're supporting a local family-owned company, not some big corporation. So when you're stuck, just call the Duck, 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous, don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
We've seen it 1,000 times. Insurance companies using the same tired excuses not to pay. They'll say you're really not hurt, or that your injury is from an old accident. That's why it's so important to hire a law firm who has their own medical experts, who know how to fight excuses with facts. When they bring excuses, we bring the truth. And truth is power. Farah and Farah. Here for you, here for good. Jacksonville.
I want my Woody's barbecue.
For classic Southern barbecue that's been smoking since 1980, head for the Woody's Barbecue near you. University Boulevard at Atlantic, Powers Avenue just off University, Ponte Vedra at Solano Road, and also in McLennan. Bring the kids and enjoy the low and slow cooking that Woody's is famous for.
This is Woody Mills inviting you to Woody's Barbecue today. Come see us.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars on their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
Round up a foursome of friends and test your aim to help kids succeed. It's the 5th annual Camp Deep Pond Clay Shoot, presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, supporting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. The fun takes place Friday, May 12th. You bring the team, and the Boys and Girls Clubs take care of the rest. Proceeds benefit Mackenzie's Camp Deep Pond, an outdoor spring break and summer camp experience for local kids and teens. Visit bgcnf.org/events.
Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast, and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you.
Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-one-fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA. Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
There's a world of difference between and that's why you can trust Famous Automotive and Tire when it comes to your vehicle's care. Because there's a difference between and. It all starts with the triangle of safety. Your tires, brakes, and the front end. Take care of those 3 points and your car will take good care of you. Start at Famous Automotive and Tires. 7 locations servicing every customer like they're famous.
Fact, we all want to feel better, especially when our joints hurt. Are you stuck on the sidelines but want to get back in the game of life? My friend Dr. Alan Nathans has a no-needle regenerative clinic for people with degenerated arthritic joints, like bone-on-bone knees, shoulders, hips, and more. He uses no-needle soft-wave tissue regeneration technology that activates your own stem cells to grow brand-new tissue. Long-term results. Don't do another cortisone injection. Dance at 50, golf at 60, river run at 70. Yes, yes, and yes. Check out Dr. Nathans at drnathans.com.
1010XL is your home for Gators sports.
That ball's ripped.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Fair ball, home run.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club has become an attractive destination for golfers all over North Florida. You too will enjoy our classic Arnold Palmer design that'll test your game and keep you coming back. Book a tee time today at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is teaming up with the NFL to inspire change. From now to draft day, Big Brothers Big Sisters is following the NFL draft, aiming to recruit potential bigs. Hi, I'm Brent from the 1010 sales team. I'm committed as a mentor, and we need you to step up and become a mentor too. There's a waiting list of more than 50 children hoping for a mentor. It's just a few hours a month. Be a mentor, become a big. Visit bbbsnefl.org. Be a mentor or visit Big Brothers Big Sisters and click on Big Draft.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by YMCA. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. In case you missed it yesterday, Roy Robertson Harris joined at the Frangie Show to talk about his involvement in the Boys and Girls Club of Jacksonville. But in addition, he chatted about the Jaguars season and new additions, including his thoughts on Calvin Ridley.
Absolutely. I played against Red back in when he was in Atlanta. I was in Chicago. I played against him, and he's a playmaker. He does his thing. He's a crazy route runner. He's exciting to watch, and so now that he's on our team, I'm glad he's on our team now. So I'm excited.
Visit 1010XL.com for more. It's 80 degrees at 103. Time and temp are brought to you by Bueller Air Condition. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Ladies and gents, please put your hands together as Dan Hicken enters the studio.
It's an electric feeling, man, when he comes in. You know, we don't get to play that in our show, but once, maybe even every other year if we were going with the the Hicken Hayes kind of rota. Well, we've got the Road Scout with us right now. We've got a seg devoted to one Daniel Hicken. Welcome in, Mr. Hicken. How are you?
Thank you. I just want to point out, if the Jags had listened to me through the years, we'd be in much better stead than we've been here in the past. So
you better believe it, bro.
Heed what I tell you, people.
Someone on the text line did ask, what is the track record if the Jags had followed the media mock draft over the past 21 years?
We'd be a lot better off. A lot better. I know we would have CeeDee Lamb. I know would have had Ryan Kerrigan instead of Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
That I can tell you. So there's been a few misses, though. There's been a few misses.
Well, I got to believe there are more, like on our text line and radio hosts, there are more good Tom Coughlin type of GMs than Dave and Shaq and those types of GMs that we've had to live
This
through.
is a beautiful spot, though, because no matter whom I pick, the anger will come flying through. I'm sitting here with my deputy general manager. His name is E. And we've been listening and scouring and cursing here in the war room, and we have whittled our way down to a few candidates.
All right, well, here's what I got to know.
We're in good shape. Yeah,
because Dan, you have picked this pick for Duval before, and unfortunately, it's been a small group of players to choose from because this team's been picking at the top so often. But now, how many do you have as a possibility? Kind of educate us a little bit on what's rolling through the Dan Dome.
You want me to give you the names now?
Yeah, just a couple names.
Just a few.
Couple names.
Yeah, I'll be glad to. I'm looking at two defensive backs right now. I'm looking at Brian Branch, and I'm looking at I love the Mississippi State kid. I think he's a playmaker, but he's small. But he's got 6 picks, 6 pick sixes, 13 interceptions. That's a playmaker, boys. I saw him take Will Levis and pick his pocket like it was nobody's business. Maybe that's why he's falling. So I got those two guys. I'm not taking, and I'm sorry, but I'm just not taking Brian, whatever his last name is.
Branch.
Yeah.
Oh, Brzee. Okay.
Brzee. I'm not, but I would consider, and me and E are kicking around a big inside guy, Mozzie Smith from Michigan. Oh, I like him. No. I like that guy. Wait, there's more. And then, of course, we'd be silly not to at least consider Osiris Torrance. But I got to be honest with you. A Gator picking a Gator in the Jaguar mock draft doesn't usually go well. He's getting some negative points just for that.
All right, so just to kind of give you the backdrop, you're right, because Gator on Gator crime has been committed here before, and we are kind of blinded at times by that. But I just as a backdrop for you having to make the selection, 16 years ago, Mel Kiper said that he's been a Road Scout as long as you have. Mel Kiper said that Jamarcus Russell could certainly be a top 5 quarterback in 3 years. He compared his abilities to John Elway. Okay, so Yeah, how'd that go?
By the way, I want to remind all the fans of your program, your hit program, your Lunch Punch program, that Matt Hayes has become like just a negative Nelly. Like after every pick, as we've been listening, after every pick, Matt, nothing but negative things to say about the calling the person names. What a terrible pick.
Whose name? Whose name?
It's not a good draft.
Well, first off, I said Joey Porter was the best corner in the draft. Did I not?
That poor
Then I said
so-and-so.
Kalijah Kancey could play anywhere on the defensive front, right?
That poor so-and-so picked the center.
Then I said, oh, well, if you're getting on me about getting on Softy, first off, I'm getting on him because his name's Softy and he's proud of it.
Yeah.
Secondly, he's taking a center who's basically a third-round pick.
Yeah.
I like John Michael Schmitz.
Softy's got his board.
Yeah, I like John Michael Schmitz. I just don't think he's worthy of the, what overall is that? 20th overall pick.
Yeah. I like it.
By the way, Dano,
yes.
9999 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, says, I love Dan, but so far in this segment, I am afraid of who he is going to pick. So, without further ado, let's get to it.
I got to be honest, I'm afraid to.
I'm so nervous.
I'm really afraid
how
right now.
many cups will I have been in by the time the 24th pick comes up, and what will Dan do to make me smile? All right, here we go.
Yes, I have decided, and I have come up with, after consulting with many of the experts, studying tons of film, breaking down everything, visiting with my man Emmanuel right here, my deputy general manager. The Jacksonville Jaguars, with the 24th pick, are proud as hell to select Brian Branch from the University of Alabama. Take that, Matt Hayes.
Yeah. Now,
Take that.
I can't help but immediately look over at Matt. I can't help Matt.
It's an echo chamber pick. Everybody's saying Brian Reg.
And he set you up beautifully because what are they drafting?
They're drafting a safety. Hick, they're drafting a safety. You know that, right?
I'm taking.
He's not a corner. He's a safety.
Wait a minute. He's a safety? I did because I care. Yes, and I'm going to play him right as a slot corner. And by the way,
again, he's not a corner.
That's your opinion. You watch my guy Brian Branch play ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's one of the best tacklers in coming out, according to PFC. Best tackler in the defensive backfield of any kid in college, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Hayes, who do you have taken?
You have a slot corner who's not a corner right now, and his name's Trey Herndon, okay?
You know what we're doing, boys?
You're just going to add another guy.
Hey, listen, I love you, man.
Mia, help me here. Yeah. We're going defense.
Yeah.
We're going
I'm
defense.
here. They're going to go defense, yes. Whether it's an edge rusher or a corner, yeah.
I want a big
defense.
man.
There's no edge rushers left. I'm not taking the McDonald kid.
Suck
He's
it up
too
and
late.
take Michael Mayer, man.
I will go. No. I'll go sign. Mia, we're going to go sign Leonard Floyd.
Yep.
We'll be fine there. We'll go get ourselves an edge rusher in free agency. We got a little money left, and we're going to improve this damn defense because we've got Calvin Ridley and this Jaguar offense ready to roll.
And with the tight ends falling, you may end up getting a Laporta in the second round.
Thank you.
We got to go, Dan.
You know what else we can do?
Oh,
hey, Mia, we can trade up, too. Don't forget
there
that.
We go.
Got a bunch of picks at the end. We can move up in the second
we gotta
round.
go. We gotta go.
We gotta go. It ain't the drill. We'll see you later.
What do you mean?
All right.
What do you mean?
We got the next caller, our next draft pundits on a timeline.
He just hung up on us. All right, let's hear about Brian Branch.
Alabama cornerback Brian Branch, 6 foot tall, 190 pounds. Branch had a breakout season in 2022, earning second-team All-American honors with 14 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 2 interceptions.
All right. Well, I did this with Coach Campo on our Campo and Joe podcast yesterday. There have been a lot of good defensive backs that have come out of Alabama. I'll just go with the any good category. Pat Surtain, any good. Minka Fitzpatrick, any good. Marlon Humphrey, any good.
Sure.
Ha Clinton Dix, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. And then D. Milner, not. Okay, but other than that,
there's more than just D. Milner.
But those are the guys that have been selected in the first round of the past 10 years. So
we're going to say hello to Ryan Dunleavy, who we know is on a tight schedule because, oh, wait for it, Aaron Rodgers' introductory presser is coming, and he covers both the Giants and the Jets. So let's take our next break. We'll say hello to Ryan and see who the Giants are picking at 25th overall. Coming up next on XL Primetime.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
Yo, Jacksonville.
It's a Duval thing.
Let's go. Duval.
1010XL.
All Weather Contractors is hiring experienced roofing team members now. If you want the most competitive pay for your experience, eager for opportunity and advancement, and if bonuses, benefits, 401k programs, and employee stock ownership opportunities sound appealing, we should talk. We're a full-service multifamily and commercial construction company focused on building better careers for people with a purpose. Build a better career in the commercial roofing industry. Apply online at allweathercontractors.com today.
Hard to believe that 2023 is here. I'm Kevin with Gutter Helmet and Armor Guard Exteriors. The home improvement supply chain has been sketchy at best. Our local manufacturers continue to deliver on time. From gutters to gutter protection, retractable awnings and screens, replacement windows, and glass and ice. Start your home improvement project now and receive 18 months, zero interest, and no money down. But you have to call now, 904-906-8669.
Summer is here, so while you're at the beach or on your bike, head on down to Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, where you'll find the absolute freshest seafood in all of the 904. The biggest shrimp, the saltiest oysters, the freshest fish, all here at our newly renovated restaurant in Neptune Beach. Fresh seafood delivered daily by Safe Harbor, straight from the boat to your plate. Unique oyster specials daily, along with mixed cocktails from the bar. Come enjoy this beach vibe. Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, locally owned by Safe Harbor Seafood.
Calling all poker players, brace yourselves for an epic month of poker at Best Bet Orange Park this April. In honor of our 15th anniversary, we're giving away $15,000 in high-end promotions on Saturday, April 15th. And that's not all. Our highly popular $400 no-limit Hold'em Greater Orange Park Open with a guaranteed prize pool of $40,000 is happening on April 22nd. Don't miss your chance to participate in these exciting events. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
He was number 55, and he's still our middle linebacker.
You're gonna lose.
Tom McManus.
It was like he didn't know what to do.
Friday from 10 to noon, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
People often ask me, Lee, do I have to take the roadside sobriety tests? The answer is no. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett. Auditioning for your freedom on the side of the road can be nerve-wracking. And although your refusal might be used in court, in many cases, it's better to think twice and talk with an attorney first. I have 25 years of experience defending those accused of DUIs and criminal charges all over Northeast Florida. I'm from here, I live here, and I'm here to help you if you need me. I love fighting for your rights. Know Before You Blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Sports injuries are a common issue for both adults and children. Dr. George Barry here, and as a specialist in orthopedic care, the team at Barry Orthopedics and Sports Medicine here in Jacksonville provides comprehensive diagnosis and treatments of all types of sports injuries. With additional training in sports medicine and more than 30 years of experience, the team is available to care for your entire family and help you have fun and stay active. Visit us today at barryorthopedics.com.
And don't forget to check out Breaking Bones Sunday morning, 7:30 on 1010XL.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is XL Primetime, protected by Preferred Roofing on 1010XL.
The 21st annual 1010XL Media Mock Draft rolling on in hour number 2 of XL Primetime, 1 day away from the actual 2023 NFL Draft. Mia O'Brien, Joe C., Matty Hayes, JJ LaSelva, Leon Cersei will join us in just a little bit. But without further ado, let's head on up to my old stomping grounds. No, not Iowa. but the state that I actually derive from, that being the great state of New Jersey, and visit with Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post, who is set to make the pick for the New York Football Giants. Ryan, I know you're pulling double duty today because you also have to talk to a man by the name of Aaron Rodgers in a little less than an hour.
Yeah, I'm on my way there right now.
Absolutely. Well,
which is more important.
Right, exactly. we appreciate you taking the time, therefore. But let's stay on the G-men for a second. Obviously, a very successful first year for the new regime. Kind of walk us through what the vibe is up in New Jersey right now.
Yeah, I mean, they really defied everybody's expectations, including internally, last year, getting to the playoffs, winning a playoff game. They were really well coached. They were not an overly talented roster. They're not one of those teams that's thinking they're a piece or two away from contending for a Super Bowl. They know they still need to build this roster up, that they were ahead of schedule last year. That you can become a victim of your own success if you don't keep it up, though. So they need to be thinking about the playoffs again this year.
You know, I love Brian Dable. I'm a fan, but then we were also stumping hard for Doug Peterson for that Coach of the Year honors. Either would be deserving. But the biggest need that you're identifying right now for the team before you make the selection?
Well, to me, the biggest need is cornerback. You can make a case corner or receiver. They added a bunch of receivers on one-year deals in free agency, whether it's Paris Campbell or Jamison Crowder, or they brought back Sterling Shepard on a one-year deal. But long-term, they don't have a lot of receivers locked up. To me, cornerback is an even bigger problem. But looking at this draft board, the top 4 guys are off the board. So.
All right, so without further ado, Ryan, so we can get you along to Jet Nation and Aaron Rodgers land, help us with this 25th pick.
With the 25th pick in this mock draft, the Giants select wide receiver Zay Flowers from Boston College.
I almost wrote down Jordan Addison. You threw us for a curveball there. Why is Flowers the pick over Addison?
The speed, the deep threat. The Giants have done a ton of work on him. He's been here. They met with him at his pro day. They always use their top 30 visits for guys they're interested in. He was here. They spent a lot of time with him. He's the small, quick separation guy they want. That's what they want in their receivers, is guys who can create their own separation. Always seems like Zay Flowers is open. I'll be honest. I juggled between 3. I wanted Deonte Banks. He's gone. I juggled between 3 guys: Flowers, Jordan Addison, and the corner Emmanuel Forbes. It was really picking. It was really a fine pick here, 51-49 to Flowers over Addison. It could be either guy.
Yeah, and now $40+ million. Danny Jones needs targets, that's for sure. Ryan, we appreciate it, buddy. At Ryan Dunleavy, New York Post Sports. They can definitely follow you, and obviously you're going to be up there with Aaron Rodgers in Jets land. Thanks, bud.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so Dunleavy makes the selection. Let's find out about Zay.
Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers, 5'9", 182 pounds. Flowers set career marks in 2022 with 78 catches for 1,077 yards. He tied for 5th in the nation with 12 receiving touchdowns.
A dozen in the end zone, Matty.
29 career. I think the biggest thing with him is they couldn't throw the ball in 3 years.
Right.
If he had a legit passer on that team, his numbers would have been unreal.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a fantastic slot corner in the league. Fantastic.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Listen, speaking of love, we are moving to
a man that we all love, and you all love, our Nooner Nation.
Just so for the record, he traded the star for the Jaguar, okay? Just so everybody knows, he is a Duvaller right now. But still, we had to employ our head coach, Dave Campo, to make the selection for the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome in, Coach.
Hey, guys. What's happening? You guys are flying through this draft.
Coach Campo, you told us yesterday you have a couple names. How many of them are left after the first 25 picks of this media mock draft?
I actually have 4 guys that are there. And, with the Cowboys, I kind of know how they operate. And they're looking at tight ends, offensive guard, running back, and linebacker. And I've got one of each of those there, and I'm going to let you guys know the pick in one minute.
Now, what did you think quickly of Brian Branch in the selection that Dan Hicken made?
Well, you heard me say yesterday that's who they were going to pick. that's who I had on my board and at that spot. And, I know this. He's a football player, and you can't have too many football players on your ball club. So if that happened, I would not be really disappointed. I don't think you're really getting a corner, as Matt has said earlier in the show, but I think you're getting a guy that is an outstanding tackler. He's a physical guy. He's come from a Nick Saban background who was really excellent in the secondary, so he's well coached. And I don't think it's a bad pick. I think maybe from a need standpoint, it would have not been my first pick.
So you would have gone offensive line then, Coach Campo?
Yeah. The only thing is I would have had to reach a little bit. According to this mock draft, I would have had to reach a little bit.
All right, now put the star back on, and it's time for you to make your selection for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. I've got, a couple, as I said, I've got some guys that I'm looking at. I know that Dak Prescott is actively involved in what's going on with this draft. In order to take care of him, the running back, they need a running back, and he's he's a quarterback's best friend. But the next guy is a blocking, pass protection, communicating, no sight, no zones. I'm going with Michael Mayer at tight end.
All right, there it is. 26th overall. Coach Campo selects Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame to the Dallas Cowboys. And if you can believe it, Coach Campo, first tight end off the board. Does that surprise you at number 26?
No, I tell you what, I really on my board had him right around that spot. And that's good. I think, I actually had him a little higher. He's actually my second pick still on there, but I think Mayer fits what they want. He's a second quarterback's best friend, and he's got a lot of tangibles. His only negative is that he's not a super athlete. He maybe not be the athlete that Kincaid is, but he fits that mold as being a guy that's a Witten type of a guy.
Yeah, and they did say goodbye to their, the guy that they were throwing it to the most in Dalton Schultz. All right, Coach. I went Dalton Schultz. Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we will find out where they go with that 26th pick overall.
All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds
see you
good.
tomorrow, Coach.
Yep. I almost combined that to really
that pick, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well,
a true inline blocker and a true move guy.
Yeah, and one thing he said that was pretty dang important is that Dak Prescott had a big impact, at least from what he's getting
from what
out
he's been
of
told.
Dallas. Yeah. Is that
he's a big dude.
Oh, yeah.
And a big target.
Yeah.
Long.
Yeah, and that's honestly what you have to make sure that you give the appearance that you're going to do something other than what you're doing. All right, Michael Mayer, selected.
Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer, 6'4.5", 249 pounds. Mayer was a first-team All-American in 2022 and was a finalist for the John Mackey Award given to the nation's top tight end. In 2021, Mayer set the Notre Dame school record for single-season receptions and receiving yards by a tight end.
All right, Michael Mayer is off the board. You want to talk about cool following cool? Let's go from Campo to Capaccio. Sal Capaccio, sideline reporter for the Buffalo Bills, part of the Bills Mafia, WGR 550 up there. Sal, welcome in. How are you?
I'm pretty good, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. We know that you know the know when it comes to Buffalo. But real quick, before you make the selection, just how kind of, gut-wrenching, what would be the description of just the way the season ultimately finished up, not getting to where they thought they were headed?
Yeah, the gut-wrenching part came the year before with 13 seconds left against Kansas City. I think last year was just such an incredible disappointment. Like, they just didn't show up against the Cincinnati Bengals, right? And look, it's not excuse-making, but people will pass it off as that sometimes. It is true, I think, because I'm someone who travels with the team as the sideline reporter, and I think this team last year just really ran out of gas with everything they went through. You go back to last May, almost a year ago, in the mass shooting we had here in Buffalo. You had the weather issues, the game got moved, then you had DeMar Hamlin and what happened. And this team, I think, was mentally drained and exhausted from everything that happened. And it's disappointing they didn't show up. There's no doubt. They should have played better. But I thought it was a lot to ask by the end of the year and when you finally took stock of everything.
Sal, another thing I've heard, a notion around the league, is perhaps this Bills roster is maybe getting a little bit old. before our very eyes, and we're not even expecting it to kind of erode the way it has. Would you say that the young nucleus is still young right now?
Yeah, they're all pretty much about, in their prime, maybe even a little bit getting towards the back end of their prime, but a lot of them are. But look, it is older. I wouldn't say it's old. I think the older spots that you look at are Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde on the back end, but even then, they despite an injury last year to Mike, obviously is a concern. Jordan still had a heck of a year. He was playing banged up. He's just 1 year removed from being an All-Pro. Tre'Davious White coming back from an ACL last year. They missed him most of the year, but he's still in his prime. But you think about it, Matt Milano, Tre'Davious White, like I said, Deion Dawkins. These guys are just in their second contract. And then, of course, Josh Allen. People forget, Josh Allen was just entering his 6th year in the league. He's still only, 28 years old, 27 years old. He's still a young guy. So, yes, it is getting older. They have Von Miller, of course. Bills had a lot of injuries last year that they didn't typically have the last 3 years, and that obviously impacted them. And you got to hope that those guys, as they get older, can still come back to full form.
Yeah, it's true, for sure. All right, Sal, hit us with the pick for the Buffalo Bills.
I could have gone a lot of ways here based on how the board is falling. The Bills have a very good roster. They have a lot of things that they can try and pick in and say you could be a luxury pick or maybe we fill a couple of needs. But they have been after a pass-catching tight end and a move tight end for quite a while, and Dalton Kincaid is sitting right there. You accidentally said Dalton Schultz because you knew Dalton Kincaid was coming up next on the board, baby. He is going to be the Bills' pick. And look, this is not an indictment on Dawson Knox. The Bills have wanted to run 12 personnel for years, even with Dawson Knox. They haven't been able to. They've been looking for that mismatch. And, in fact, they did run 12 personnel a lot last year, but it was with an extra offensive lineman to dictate how the defenses can play them. Now you get Dalton Kincaid on the field. I think he's a kind of guy the Bills want. Look, the last few years, the Bills, they signed Tyler Kroft, Jacob Hollister, O.J. Howard. None of them worked out. They get this guy in. He's going to work out. He's going to be your second tight end. The Bills have their pass catcher to help Josh Allen and the offense with Dalton Kincaid, who can grow into a blocker by putting on strength and being coached up.
One thing that he does scream to me when you think about it is that he's got Buffalo, kind of hardcore written all over him. Didn't have an FBS offer coming out of high school. Played 1 year of high school ball, didn't have an FBS offer at all, and the guy is a really, really good story. Real quick, Sal, before you go, we mentioned things getting old. Is Sean McDermott getting old, or is everything good there?
Well, there's a section of the fan base that for sure thinks that he should be on the hot seat with the way the season has ended the last couple of years. I want to quickly remind everybody we went 17 straight years without a playoff appearance before Sean McDermott arrived, and now they've been in the playoffs 5 of his 6 years. 4 of his 5 years he's been the head coach. 5 or 6, whatever it is now, back to 2017. You guys get the point, but he's a very good coach. He's an excellent coach. If Sean McDermott wasn't the Bills coach, he'd have an offer to be a head coach somewhere else in the NFL. Now, is there something to be said for at some point you reach your ceiling? Sure. I don't think they're there yet. I think the Bills are still trying to win this thing. They're going to give it another run. They still have one of the best rosters in the league, and they still have one of the best quarterbacks.
And Sal, before we let you go, if you could, just an update on Damar Hamlin.
Yep.
I don't want you to play doctor here, but do you believe he will play at some point this season?
Yeah, he's been fully cleared, guys. I don't have to be the doctor. I'll tell you what the doctors have said. He is fully cleared. He's on the roster. He's at workouts. It's an amazing story. I was on the field the night it happened. It was obviously tragic, incredible, but it's had an incredibly awesome, positive, uplifting story from everything from all the money raised to what he's doing with AEDs and CPR training and being an advocate for that around the country. Brandon Beane said the plan is for him to play. He said my plan is to play. The doctors have cleared him, and all systems are go now.
Yeah, it's such a great story. You're a great dude, Sal. We appreciate it. We will be looking forward to seeing how everything plays out.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
At Sal Sports, WGR 550 Bills sideline reporter and truly a member of the Bills Mafia. Let's find out about Dalton Kincaid.
Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid, 6'4", 246 pounds. Kincaid is a former All-State basketball player from Las Vegas. He was a first-team All-Pac-12 selection in 2022, catching 70 passes for 890 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Did not have an FBS offer.
You know why? He was like 205 pounds.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
So he's put on, this is the best part, the story you talked about.
Yeah.
He also put on like 40 pounds. And really the best topper of everything, he wasn't their best tight end. Brant Keithy's their best tight end.
Mm-hmm.
But Brant Keithy got hurt in the Florida game.
Yeah, right.
And once he got hurt, then
stopped.
Kincaid moved right in there and became the number one option.
Yeah.
They didn't really throw to him that much his first 3 years there.
And now he's obviously taken off, and he would be a first-round pick in this year's media mock draft. Will Levis is still in a free fall, folks. In case you're just joining us, the 2023 1010XL media mock draft is going to roll on. We are approaching pick 28, and the program's quarterback remains on the board. Could he go to the Bengals, the Saints, the Eagles, or the Chiefs? Stay tuned to find out. This is XL Primetime.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
This month, the Key Buick GMC received 2.9% financing for 60 months or choose 4.9% financing for 72 months on all available GMCs, $500 off all new vehicles for active, retired, enlisted, and previous military. Home of Jacksonville's no added dealer markups with clear, fair pricing, as well as the only Buick GMC dealership offering lifetime powertrain warranty on all new GMCs. Key Buick GMC. We are professional grade, Southside and Gate.
Everyone seems to be in a time crunch these days. Well, don't forget you can always count on the cold case at Daly's. Always convenient, always cold, whether it's the king of beers, Natty Light, Stella, or Cigar City, or Goose Island or Bud Light Seltzer. Dash into Daly's and grab one to go.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Head and neck cancers are quite common, but often go undetected until later stages. If you have lumps or bumps in your mouth or sores in your throat or difficulty swallowing, get screened for head and neck cancer with AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Are you buying a home with a septic system? Don't do it without getting the septic system inspected first. Call Duck Duck Rooter, Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor. Our team will conduct an in-depth inspection that includes a full report with pictures. DuckDuckRooter.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 26, 1983, in the NFL draft nicknamed the quarterback class of 83, Stanford quarterback John Elway is taken with the first pick overall by the Baltimore Colts.
At the Daly's Dash, they're kicking pimento and taking names. Come in and try the April sandwich of the month, the Kickin' Pimento BTT. More Dash deliciousness filled with pimento cheese, bacon, tomatoes, and turkey. Are we hungry yet? Quality ingredients, friendly service. The Daly's Dash experience is going to be a pimento kicking eye-opener for you. From locally sourced coffee ground fresh every morning to the mouth-watering sandwich menu, stop at the Daly's Dash today and try the Kickin' Pimento BTT, the Daly's Dash sandwich of the month.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph is such a hard, big, beautiful bike. If they come into the showroom, what can they find?
You're going to find everything from the modern classics, the Trident, the Scramblers, bobbers. We've got it all.
And inventory is always changing, right?
It is always changing. It's fluctuating fast. If you see it, you better get it.
So come on into the showroom. That's the easiest way. Or log on to cyclesofjacksonville.com. We're on Atlantic near Regency. That's Cycles of Jacksonville.
The Jacksonville RV Stadium Show, brought to you by Travel Camp RV, is Wednesday through Sunday. Catch the XL Primetime crew live Friday from noon to 3. Lot J downtown at the bank. This weekend only, the Jacksonville RV Stadium Show, brought to you by Travel Camp RV.
Draft choices can make teams look brilliant or bad. Good teams spend time researching and doing the homework prior to pulling the trigger. Don't make a mistake selecting your custom home builder without seeing Preferred Builders first. They're a top pick on a decision that goes well beyond a standard career. Honest, dependable, and they have great stats. Make Preferred Builders your first-round pick in the custom home building draft this year. Call 751-0840 and pick Preferred Builders.
Are you looking for increased privacy and protection for your family and pets? Look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Superior Fence and Rail is Jacksonville's top-rated fence company, delivering the highest quality fence products. They'll treat your property as if it's their own. So get off the fence and get your privacy back. Call Superior Fence and Rail today for your on-site estimates.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I said yes to YAS, Dr. Mitchell Yass, and the YAS method. Now, I know you've probably tried medications, treatments, injections, even surgery. Maybe the reason you're still in pain is because they're treating the wrong thing and not addressing the root causes. Well, I know from personal experience, this does happen. But I found the best-kept secret in pain elimination, Dr. Yass and the YAS method. Call him today, 904-906-YASS, and say yes to YAS.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
I'm coming in hot.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Normally on Wednesdays we hear coming in hot. We know Gio's in the house. Dr. George Barry, he is going to come in tomorrow or join us by phone. One of the two. But with the draft going on the way it is, we wanted to make sure that we made room for him and for everything else that's going on. So I look to my right and I see Big Leon Searcy. So our schedule, we said, hey, Big Searce, come in once we get close to the conclusion of this 21st annual media mock draft. Yeah, that means we've been doing this bad boy about as long as. How far back do you go when you
for
were
a
playing
minute
the league?
now? You know, I was able to sleep in a little later. So I appreciate
what do you think
that.
as you scanned the first?
I'm disappointed in y'all a little bit. Y'all let the program free fall, and he hasn't been drafted yet. Will Levis, what is going on with that, bro?
For a second, I thought he was talking about the program like
us. No, the program from Kentucky. I come here, and he still hasn't been drafted. Now, some of these, AR, the Texans, all right, their second pick.
Yeah, their second pick.
Their second pick,
pick, so they waited on him.
Okay.
Kind of interesting.
I think
the Saints take him at 29.
Yeah, I was doing.
I think Naves will look at it and say,
okay, they'll go Levis. Yeah.
I was hoping for the best because I was trying to avoid AR in the division at all costs.
Well, so
I ain't scared of him.
My question
we got
is,
Trevor, but
Leon,
I think you might be a little scared.
I'm a little scared.
This is obviously an exercise, but if you had to guess of the two, who is more likely to free fall tomorrow night, Will Levis or Anthony Richardson? If you had to guess, independent.
If I had to guess,
yeah, independent of this, or C.J. Stroud for that matter.
Yeah, I don't understand the C.J. Stroud concern. I mean, he was bona fide number 2 behind Bryce Young for like months, and then all of a sudden people are questioning, his.
It's the cognition test.
It's a test.
And apparently, I heard something today about.
Now, is this equivalent to the Wonderlic test?
No, it's
different.
Okay.
But I heard today too. He showed up. He was a late, a no-show to the Peyton Manning.
I heard about that
no,
too.
but he wasn't.
Heard about
that. The Mannings refuted that. He wasn't.
Okay, all right. Because I was trying to find the reason
someone's
why.
always throwing that Manning passing academy rumor out there every year.
Well, the whole thing was he made the commitment.
Yeah.
And then he didn't show up, and it's not true.
You don't disrespect the Mannings.
No, you don't. But the Manning Academy, they also
I was
refuted
thinking about
so.
that as I heard that. I was like, my God, maybe another family in the National Football League we could say that about. So.
Yeah.
All right, Leon, well, we're glad to have you aboard for the final 4 picks of the 1010XL Media Mock Draft. We've already had a couple New Jersey connections, so let's welcome on another. A fellow product of the great Freehold Regional High School District, Marshall Kramsky of WCPO in Cincinnati joins us now to make the Bengals pick. Marshall, how are you, my friend?
Mia, I'm great. So awesome to hear your voice.
Absolutely right back at you, brother. After a first full season in the Queen City, I'm curious, where do you think your Bengals' needs lie at this very juncture?
The secondary, they have just no depth there right now. They're not afraid, I think, to maybe go into free agency if the cards fell the way they needed to. The way the draft was going, the way Michael Mayer was falling, if that tight end position of him or Kincaid, but especially Mayer, is available, I think the Bengals would say, who cares about defense? We're going to just give Joe Burrow every single weapon we possibly can. Michael Mayer also being a local Cincinnati kid, the people here love him. If he falls like that, I don't see them passing on him. But, secondary, they need to figure out a way to have some more depth over there.
Then the obvious question is that offensive line, too, Marshall, just trying to figure out how you're not going to get Burrow clobbered again.
Yeah, but, when they went out and they signed Orlando Brown Jr., they made, a really big statement that we get this, we understand what's going on. Ted Karras back as the captain of that offensive line. Did a tremendous job last year. And it comes down a lot to the health of that offensive line. Cordell Volson was a rookie who really stepped up for them last year. And the big question mark is, what's Lyle Collins going to do? When will he be back? We just spoke with him earlier this week in the locker room, and he seemed to be really positive that, he didn't want to put a timetable on it, but he thinks he'll be ready and better than ever come this year. What player isn't going to say that? However, Lyle seems very encouraged about the addition of Orlando Brown, which should make this a good offensive line. But, that's the thought going into every Bengals season.
All right, hit us with it. The 28th overall pick, Marshall.
Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State. They need some more help on the secondary. Lou Anarumo, defensive coordinator, he loves ball hawks, and that's what this guy is. He's fast. He's someone, a 4.35, 40 at the combine, 6 interceptions last year, 14 in his career. They want someone who can make plays, who will kind of fill that position of what Von Bell and Jesse Bates, although, yes, safeties, who are making those big turnovers in the secondary.
All right, excellent. Well, best of luck to the Bengals and you in the coverage this upcoming season, and hopefully we see you more than once, perhaps, this upcoming year.
That would be fun. I hope so.
All right, there he goes, Marshall Kramsky, a second-time participant in the 1010XL Media Mock Draft. You can find him at Marshall Kramsky on Twitter, WCPO in Cincinnati.
A little bit about Emmanuel Forbes.
Mississippi State cornerback Emmanuel Forbes, 6'1", 166 pounds. Forbes led the Bulldogs with 3 interceptions in 2021. He tied for 3rd in the nation with 6 interceptions in 2022. The Bulldogs corner set an FBS record with 6 pick sixes during his career.
Did Gibby say 166 pounds? That's
that's the only negative. He has 6 career pick sixes, which is an NCAA record. 6.
And 14
career picks.
Yeah.
And he's playing in the biggest and baddest conference in football, in the best division of that conference. That throws it all over the place.
I'll just put it to you this way, Leon. I'm pissed if I weigh 166, okay? This man weighs 160. What would you do?
He's also 6'2", 166.
Yeah. What would you do?
He's lean, bro.
What would you do to him on the football field?
I would just run right at him if I'm a wide receiver, especially in the league at 166, bro. Can you imagine him on press man coverage?
Everybody tried to do that.
But he obviously he's doing something right.
He makes
He's
plays.
got 14 picks, and he's got 6 pick sixes.
At 166, he makes Sauce Gardner look like Leon. That's what I'm thinking right
true.
now.
That is true.
All right, let's move on. Let's get to the Crescent City. Let's get to beautiful Nolens with the pre and post man, Mike Neighbors. He's an institution when it comes to the Saints and the Media Mock Draft. What is up, Nabes?
You know how much I love you guys?
Yeah.
I'm teaching at Florida Southern College. I warned my class 1010XL could be calling me at any moment. We had class participations. I said, I'm going to put everything on pause for Joe and Leon today. Thankfully, we are gone. I am all yours now. We're good.
That is beautiful, dude. All right, now, we were talking about what is possible with this selection because of what has happened with this mock draft. But give us a little reality as far as what you're thinking, what they are thinking down in New Orleans about what they need to do in the draft.
Well, it's got to be defense, guys. They've done a lot to the offense. Obviously, Derek Carr, they feel like they upgraded the quarterback position. They love that Michael Thomas is coming back. Alvin Kamara's suspension is looming, but they feel good in terms of the free agency pickups at running back. I'm going to go defensive tackle, though, because, boy, they have lost a lot. David Onyemata, one of the best names in the NFL, Shy Tuttle, is gone. So I think the defensive line is really the focus for this football team when it comes to the draft.
Mike, you do know that Will Levis remains on the board.
Oh, you know what? I knew that. I was thinking about pulling the trigger on Hendon Hooker because I know they like him a lot too. I think it's tempting, but
hey, you go back in that classroom right now, and that class your teacher says you better take Will Levis.
Names, you need a quarterback, man. You need a quarterback there. Take him. Pull the trigger.
Oh, man. Yeah, is this peer pressure on 1010XL right now?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Boy, you know what's crazy is despite all the salary cap problems in New Orleans, they have maintained relevancy. I think part of that's the NFC South is so bad, let's face it. But they feel like they have their quarterback. And, I don't think Jameis would play a part in this. In terms of Levis, boy, I had a name already for you. I'll pull the trigger on Levis. Yeah, if he's still there, we'll shoot Levis.
Well done,
Yeah.
Nabes. Well done.
Draft pressure. The card is going up, and someone says, wait a minute, take this one instead. All right, Nabes. Listen, you're going to live with that one. If it strikes, you're going to be able to use that as your calling card every time we get back on the
Naves,
podcast.
had you not picked him, he was done. He would not have been in the first round.
Nope.
Or I should say, had we not guilted you into picking him.
Yeah.
I'm such a peer pressure loser right now. But here's the thing, though. I was all excited about the Clemson defensive tackle Brian Brzee because it kind of sounds like Breeze, right? It would have been a natural fit in New Orleans, but you got to go quarterback. I agree. I'm not completely sold on Derek Carr at all. I know they are, but if I'm in charge of the draft, I'm going Levis. Absolutely.
I'll just predict one thing: if Levis is selected and he walks in the facility, Derek Carr will pack his stuff and say, "I'm out of here." You know, that's basically what he did in Las Vegas. All right, dude. Always good talking to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Anytime, guys. Good to talk to you.
Thanks,
All right.
brother.
All right, let's learn a little bit more about the program's quarterback.
Kentucky quarterback Will Levis, 6'4", 229 pounds. Levis started his college career at Penn State before transferring to Kentucky. His best season for the Wildcats was 2021, starting all 13 games, passing for 2,827 yards and 24 touchdowns. Levis also led Kentucky with 9 rushing scores in 2021.
So do they do it? Did they do it?
I mean,
Leon?
I think it's interesting that once he got past the Titans, and then once he got past the Seahawks at 20, so the Titans at 10, right?
Yeah.
And then the Seahawks at 20.
And part of this is we don't have trades.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Exactly.
But,
we don't trade.
Right, but if you're looking at that, like unless someone trades back into the first round, he's not going to get picked if he goes past 20.
Yeah, he could free fall.
Yeah.
He could, what do you think, Leon?
I think it's a hell of a pick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not sold on Derek Carr either. Just like Neighbors was saying, I'm not sold on him to go on.
I like a lot of what I see with Derek Carr, but it's like we always have this argument. Kirk Cousins, same thing. You know, where do they take you? Type of feeling. Not saying Levis will, but
I mean, Derek Carr is like watching paint dry. I mean, he's okay, but it's nothing really spectacular about it, in my opinion.
My funny thing with Derek Carr is that Denny Thompson, the quarterback whisperer, big fan of Derek Carr, believes he's criminally underrated. Lauren Brooks is the president of the anti-Derek Carr fan club. For whatever the reason, she can't stand him.
Well, think about it. He had Devontae and Darren Waller. Now, Waller wasn't completely healthy, and he had Josh Jacobs in the backfield.
Right.
That was a pretty good bunch. Anyway, we'll find out what happens with him and New Orleans. Let's move on. Now, this man's already been on double duty today. The Philadelphia Eagles are back on the clock. Second to last selection that we have in our 21st annual media mock draft. We say hello to Fran Duffy. He is the host of the Eagles Eye in the Sky at Eagles XOs. So let's welcome in. Fran, how are you, bud?
Good, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. And, you know, you're in a great position. And I did hear the media mock selection that you made earlier today with Jaguars today. So as you have seen or kind of caught up with everything that's unfolded from your last selection, what's rolling through your head right now?
Well, I think this would be a great spot. You know, obviously a little bit upset. A couple of these defensive linemen have rolled off the board, but you know the Eagles did address edge rusher earlier in the draft, so feel pretty good. Would have liked to look at Brian Brzee and some of these other guys. Certainly, some of the offensive linemen on the board are definitely attractive, and Anton Harrison sitting there at that spot. For that reason, because there's so many, I would love the idea of a trade down here. But obviously, with that off the table for this exercise, I'm thinking running back here, guys.
That's what I was going to ask. If Bijan had been on the board for you at 10, would you have considered him over Nolan Smith and then got edge rusher here later?
Yeah, I personally would. I think you have to have that conversation. He's certainly one of the best players in the draft when you look at Bijan. But Jahmyr Gibbs is nothing to stick your nose up to. He's a great consolation prize, one of the most electric playmakers in football, both as a runner and as a pass catcher. And it's not just, oh, yeah, look what he did at Alabama. This guy was tearing up the ACC, was an All-American in 2021 at Georgia Tech, and then carried that production over to the SEC. So would love to see him continue to carry that production over to the NFL next year. And in this exercise, he'll be doing it here in Philly.
And just a quick thought on just the vibe that Nick Sirianni's been able to create there, just how good it was, and now that Jalen Hurts has got his money, what has been the feeling up there?
Oh, it's a lot of positivity, you know. And look, there's been some turnover, right? You lose both coordinators, you lose some guys in free agency, but the vibes here in the building, and then also just over the course of the entire city, Philadelphia loves its Eagles, and there's a lot of positive vibes with this team right now, and nothing to think that last year was a flash in the pan. This is an organization that is built for the long haul. Obviously, extend Jalen Hurts, but the way that they continue to build this thing through the line of scrimmage, tried to follow that here in this exercise with Nolan Smith at 10 overall. But this is a team that tries to always build with the end game in mind.
Well, we appreciate it for sure, Fran. We will direct them, especially Eagles fans that are down here in North Florida, check out Fran's podcast and host of Eagles Eye in the Sky at Eagles XOs. Thanks, dude.
Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, one more pick to go after the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's say hello to – actually, well, before we say hello to Jed Marshall, let's learn a little bit more about Jahmyr Gibbs.
Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs, 5'9", 199 pounds. Gibbs transferred from Georgia Tech to Alabama in 2022, becoming the Tide's top running back. Gibbs was named a third-team All-American, leading Alabama with 44 receptions.
Love him.
Yeah.
Just a dynamic, dangerous guy. Like, he's a guy, and if you can get him in space, my God, he's lethal. I mean, he's 5'9".
Yeah.
So that's 5'9", 195. That's going to be an issue, but there's smaller guys in the NFL that have succeeded, especially a guy that can run like he can.
Well,
and the Eagles have a history of having some smaller guys that they've gotten out into space.
He's also a make-you-miss guy, too.
Yeah, the play combination that they
And he's really good out of the backfield in the pass game.
You'd like to block for him, Leon?
Oh, yeah, I like little small guys. They get, they get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine them running the RPOs with Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should be a nice little welcome addition.
You know, it's funny when you think about what has gone on. Miles Sanders is extremely productive up there, and they just look at their weapons, and you look at what I would consider Devontae Smith kind of an emerging type of year, what A.J. Brown was able to do once they acquired him. They got a lot of good offensively, and for those that are just tuning in, Fran Duffy had picked Nolan Smith to come off the edge with the first pick that the Eagles had. Eagles have the luxury of 2 first-round draft picks. We are down to the final selection in our 21st annual media mock draft. Yeah, believe it. The Chefs are the last to go in this first round. 31 picks because the Miami Dolphins were stripped of theirs. But let's go ahead and say hello to Jed Marshall as he is ready to make the pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome in, Jed. How are you, bud?
Hey, guys. Doing well. How are you?
We're doing great. You can find Jed at Jedro24, 610 KC Sports Radio, KCSP. What are you thinking at the end of the first round as far as what has taken place?
Well, I didn't love the fact that Quentin Johnston was off the board out of TCU. I watched him torch my Jayhawks in a very competitive game this past year, which is saying something when you're a Kansas football fan. But I think that there are a lot of different ways you could go. I know that wide receiver is always the sexy pick, but I'm going to go with a defensive end, Felix Ndike Uzamo from Kansas State, to add to George Karlaftis, who they took last year from Purdue, and to add to Chris Jones there in the middle, adding to bolster the pass rush.
Love the pick, Jed. Real quick, though, on the wide receiver front, like you said, that's probably the sexy pick. But also, I think this offseason, and correct me if I'm wrong more than ever before, Patrick Mahomes has worked out with a ton of these potential draft picks at the wide receiver position. He didn't do that previously. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, not specifically. He's worked with guys who they brought in the off season, but not necessarily, a draft prospect. And I think this year's class, as you were mentioning, the wide receiver is always going to be the sexy pick. But I don't think this year's wide receiver class is, I don't know, maybe as dynamic as years past. But yeah, that's why I went with defensive end. I think it's probably going to be the safer position. Plus, it'll be interesting to see what happens if you give Mahomes a potentially top 10 defense, not having to put so much on his shoulders. He's going to be the best quarterback in the NFL, but, just being able to take a little bit of pressure off him.
All right, now, real quick before we let you go, just the atmosphere that we should expect tomorrow night in Kansas City.
It's unbelievable right now. Like, it's been very cool from, being a person who's grown up in Kansas City my whole life, hearing things on national, spots talking about everything in Kansas City. Logistically, being a person who lives somewhat near the draft area, not ideal, but it's gonna be awesome. I'm super amped for everybody to come and see the hidden gem that Kansas City is.
All right, that's awesome. Listen, we appreciate it. Jed Marshall making the final selection of our media mock draft, and we'll find out. Look, you guys proved, Andy Reid proved, that he had 10 different guys that were rookies last year that made contributions, 4 starters, including my man Paco. So enjoy it, have fun, and soak it up tomorrow night.
Thanks, boys.
All right, and there it is, folks. The 21st edition of the 1010XL Media Mock Draft is complete. You want to run through the list of selectees, Josie?
Yeah, absolutely. When all right.
Or should we first ask Matt for his take on Felix Anunduke Uzama?
Uzama. I think he's a Frank Clark type guy.
Uh-huh.
I think he can play either odd or even. He's I mean, if you watch him against TCU in that Big 12 championship game, they couldn't block him.
Right.
Played well against Alabama too in the bowl game. Yeah, I like it. I like the pick. He's a strong guy. He's got some moves off the edge.
Can you picture him, Leon? We're just talking about a guy that does have that size.
What's his dimensions? I mean, how big?
6'4", 250.
6'4", 250 off the edge.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
He's quick too, man.
What kind of speed you got?
I think he's like 4.5.
4.5.
I'm gonna have to look at his combine.
Okay. Yeah, and past 2 seasons, 21 sacks, that he was able to record.
Okay.
And so, I mean, this guy, 89 pressures the past 2 seasons, 20 of them he got the quarterback on the ground.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good numbers.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And, yeah, it's great numbers.
All right, let's roll through these, and then we'll get one more reaction from Big Sur's head before we head into the 2 o'clock hour. As expected, the betting favorite, you had to bet, what was it, JJ, $10 to win 1 for the number 1 overall pick. Bryce Young selected first overall in our 21st annual media mock draft, followed by Will Anderson, who went next to the Texans. Tyree Wilson went to the Cardinals. C.J. Stroud, second quarterback off the board. He goes to the Indianapolis Colts. So we've got definitely some storylines there inside the AFC South. Jalen Carter goes to the Seattle Seahawks. Devin Witherspoon goes next to the Detroit Lions. Christian Gonzalez, we had that little run in the secondary world, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Bijan Robinson, I would consider it a surprise as he goes to the Falcons. Then the Bears took Paris Johnson after that.
Then at number 10, the Eagles select Nolan Smith out of Georgia, followed by the Titans going offensive line, not quarterback, with Darnell Wright from up the road at Tennessee. The Texans circle back, and they do take a quarterback in Florida's Anthony Richardson. The Green Bay Packers select Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. The Patriots at 14th overall take Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. Broderick Jones to the Jets to block for, dare I say, Aaron Rodgers. And then Hendon Hooker off the board before Will Levis as he goes to the Washington Commanders. Joey Porter Jr. follows in his father's footsteps and heads to the Steelers with the 17th overall pick. Kalijah Cansey out of Pitt to the Lions. And then Miles Murphy to the Bucks with the 19th overall pick.
And then the first curveball
Give it to us.
of the draft.
Yep.
Softy, Dave Mahler. Picking for the
easily
Seahawks.
my favorite media member.
100%.
Every year.
100%.
Love that guy.
Yep.
Takes John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota, the center. The Chargers at 21 take Jackson Smith and Jibba. The Ravens at 22 take Deontay Banks, the corner from Maryland. The Vikings at 23 select Quentin Johnston, wideout, TCU. Your Jaguars with the road scout, Dan Hicken, select Brian Branch, safety, Alabama.
Which led me to tweet that
I'm not even saying cornerback. Safety.
The road scout hit the guardrails. Yeah, I wrote down safety as well.
Number 25, the Giants take Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College. Very underrated player.
After that, Michael Mayer, by Coach Campo, selecting for the Dallas Cowboys. The tight end goes 26 overall. Buffalo, 27th selection, Dalton Kincaid. So that was back-to-back tight ends that were selected. Emmanuel Forbes, Leon looked at 166 pounds next to his name and went, wow. He goes to the Cincinnati Bengals out of the secondary in the SEC. And then Mike Neighbors.
We guilted him into
The
it.
free fall ended.
It really was Neighbors, Coward, Hayes,
The buck
Mo Bryan.
stops at 29.
We literally guilted him.
100% peer pressure. We made him take Will Levis for the New Orleans Saints, 29th overall. And then after that, Fran Duffy came back. And wait a minute, why did I not write that?
He selected Jameer Gibbs,
Jameer Gibbs. Yeah,
running back, Alabama.
I'm like, wait a minute, why did I not write that one down? And then, as you
Felix
just broke down,
Uzama.
Yeah. And so, look, and he's out of Kansas State. They played some good football in
Nice little
Manhattan.
local pick for them, too, yeah.
Yeah. And so, when you look at all of it, all right, Big Sirs, we're going to wrap this bad boy up coming up in the 2 o'clock hour with some of your thoughts, because the whole idea is who got better in this first round, just based on what we saw. So we will do that coming up. Don't forget the Golf Club of Southampton. They are cranking the 9 after 5 tonight. A little after 5 o'clock, people knock off work. They get over there, get loose. Make sure that you get ready for a little 9-hole game. Always fun. Food afterwards, some prizes. So call 287-PLAY. Make sure you get on the tee sheet and join Joe C. at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers.
We found the computer outlet, sir.
Plug in.
1010XL.
There's so much I love about spring. Warmer weather, flowers blooming, knowing summer is right around the corner. It's hard to choose a favorite, and that's a lot like the amazing used selection you'll find at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and I am talking 400 premium pre-owned on the lot. All makes, models, imports, domestics, luxury, you name it, Arlington has it. They even have Toyota certified pre-owned too. To make your decision a little bit easier, you also get Arlington's 30-day exchange program with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it for one that you do. With so many choices, it can be hard to decide. But don't worry, you're going to have an amazing experience at Arlington. Just check out their reviews. There's a 4.7 out of 5-star rating and over 16,000 Google reviews. So you know my friends at Arlington are going to give you their best. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. There's so much to love, you better start shopping now. In person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
This is Hayes Carline for the Law Office of Stephen Doty. If you were overwhelmed with credit card debt, stifling medical bills, or need relief from your mortgage, Stephen can assist you at 416-8328. Stephen Doty is also skilled at modifying timesharing or child support and can help you if you're going through a divorce for the first time. He is the champion you need. Whether it's family law or financial assistance, Stephen can help you. Call the Law Office of Stephen Doty today at 416-8328.
Hey, Duval! The pick is in, and the Jaguars select you to join them at Daly's Place Thursday, April 27th for the official 2023 Duval Draft Party presented by Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. The party starts at 7 and includes live coverage of the NFL Draft, guest appearances by Jaguars players and coaches, and more.
Don't let this train leave the station without you.
Claim your tickets today at jaguars.com/official draft party. The best place to watch the draft is here.
Hey guys, I'm Daniel Heilman from the brand new Fourscore Golf Tavern. We do elevated food, drinks, and golf simulator fun. If you're looking for a delicious meal or maybe a spot for a client, we have lunch specials every day. Need to entertain a few people from out of town? Easy. Just reserve one of our 4 simulator bays. Lunch service starts at 11 a.m. daily. Located in San Marcos Square, we'll see you at lunch at Fourscore Golf Tavern.
Servicing every customer like they're famous. But what does that mean for you? It comes down to the famous philosophy. You'll find a consistency at all 20 locations in friendly service, honest pricing, and realistic time expectations. They know when you find someone you trust to maintain your vehicle, keep it running right, and lasting longer, you'll stick with them. And that's the famous philosophy at Famous Automotive in Quick Lube. Ask about a fleet account for your business.
Active and pain-free. That's the ticket. Dr. George Barry here, and I know that's the goal of every patient I see. They want the best possible care so they can go back to enjoying life. That could be pick up basketball, golf, tennis, running, or just working out. It all requires you to be as healthy as you can be. If joint pain is taking its toll on your active lifestyle, come see me at Barry Orthopedics. We have locations all over Jacksonville and can diagnose and treat even the most severe joint pain. A homegrown Jacksonville practice. Find out more at BarryOrthopedics.com.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Monahan Jewelers is your local family jeweler for 44 years with a huge selection of GIA-certified diamonds, gold, fine gemstone, and diamond jewelry and designer brands from all over the world. With our interest-free financing, we make it easy to acquire the perfect gift. Monahan Jewelers also specializes in custom jewelry design with thousands of customers all across Jacksonville. Come experience our beautiful selection of fine jewelry at your local family jeweler, Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
It's
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Mia here, and this spring you might be wondering, why is the sky blue? How do flowers grow? And the biggest question of all, why buy from Arlington Toyota? I'll tell you why. First, peace of mind. Buy any new Toyota from Arlington and their lifetime warranty goes with you. That's unlimited time and unlimited miles. Plus, there's Arlington's 30-day exchange program. It's 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. You even get complimentary car wash with your service visit. Now you know why you should buy from Arlington. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Call the guys at Zero Res, #1 in the nation for customer satisfaction and franchise of the year. Right now, get 2 rooms of carpet cleaned and the staircase for just $148. That's a savings of $30. Zero Res, man. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Coming through in the clutch. David Garrard for Clearwater Seamless Gutters. You all know Clearwater installed my sprinklers, but recently John Haney's Clearwater Gutter Division installed beautiful 6-inch seamless gutters for my home in Jacks Beach, and they work great.
Dave, that's awesome to hear. Now jump in. We're fixing to sing.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
David here with Royal Pest Services. That grass is waking up from its winter nap. Royal is close to applying products that help bring it out of that dormancy. Our granular aeration allows treatment to get to the root system. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate. It's grow time!
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by Woody's Barbecue. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. In case you missed it yesterday, Roy Robertson Harris joined the Frangie Show to talk about his involvement in the Boys and Girls Club of Jacksonville. But in addition, he chatted about the Jaguars this last season and his thought on playing for Coach Doug Peterson.
Having a coach that's been there before, he knows how to relate to his guys. He knows how to communicate with his guys, and that's a big part. But guys, we all just bought in, to what Doug, tells us, and like I said, it makes a big difference.
Visit 1010XL.com for more. It's 83 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp are brought to you by Bueller Air Condition. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
2 o'clock hour is here. You got the Francis Show coming up next. You got the draft tomorrow night. We've seen pictures come out of Kansas City. We just hung up the phone with Kansas City, our last pick of our 21st annual media mock draft. So in the 2 o'clock hour, we've got nooners that are out there that are used to hearing Big Sirs in the noon hour. You can hear him in the 2 o'clock hour as he is hanging out with us. Joe C., me, O'Brien, Matty Hayes. And how about a round of applause right now for J.J. LaSalle?
Yes, please give yourself a round of applause, J.J.
Okay.
That was fantastic.
Let's kick butt, buddy.
Yes, round of applause for all our guests who once again every year continue to answer the phone, and that's all.
They were all there.
Right.
So
That's the key there.
So
True,
Leon,
true.
as you you got your list right there. You're scanning, okay? Who got better? Who
got better?
Who's got some question marks? With
Well,
first round pick?
I'm looking at the top 10 pick. I think first and foremost, I think the Panthers got better. I think that Bryce Young is the best quarterback over the last 2 years, to be quite honest with you. Now, a little concerned about his size and his stature. But if you can keep this kid upright, he could do some great things for you moving forward.
I love Bryce Young's comment. He said, I focus on what I can control. I can't grow any taller.
That's true. That's right.
Yeah.
You can't blame him.
Also, quickly about the quarterbacks at number 1. Will Levis at some event today was asked about the Reddit online rumor or whatever about his family friend, coming out on Reddit anonymously and saying that he was talking about being the number 1 pick. His answer was simple: don't believe everything you read online.
It's pretty funny. That guy had put that Reddit account together 6 days ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, what else popped for you, Big Sirs?
Was it staged? See, listen, my guy, who I think is the best player on, regardless of position, he only fell to 5. Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter going to Seattle, with his off the field issues or whatever, I think that he's going to. I think that Pete Carroll creates a culture in Seattle that's going to kind of covet him.
Mm-hmm.
And the defensive coordinator, who I know is Clint Hurt, I coached with him at FIU a couple of years. He's a defensive tackle type of guy, so he's going to create an environment where he's going to excel. So I like the fact that Jalen Carr there falls to Seattle. Rest of the other picks, Paris Johnson going to the Bears.
You raised your eyes when you saw Bijan Robinson going.
Listen, you know, when it comes to running backs, I mean, the issue is that you don't draft one in the first round.
Right.
But this kid is special. He's
good.
very special. And, you know, I kind of thought that the Eagles would probably take a chance with him in the top 10. It's just going to matter how much value is it going to bring to the organization, because quarterbacks, no matter how special they are, they just don't go in the first round. But this kid is the only one that got a grade in the first round grade. So it'd be very interesting to see where he ends up. AR going to the Texans. I don't like that.
You don't like AR in the division?
I don't like him in the division. I mean, I ain't worried about him because we got Trevor.
Yeah.
But he is a freak, and if he gets it, we might have some trouble.
I do love.
And if he doesn't, he sets back that franchise.
If he doesn't, then sets franchise back at least a half a decade.
But I do love the confidence meter. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, but there's nobody else out there like me, and so he's believing.
Love his confidence.
He's right. He's believing.
I love his confidence.
Right.
Absolutely love his confidence. It was good to see the offensive lineman go. I mean, me being a stickler on offensive linemen, the first 15 picks, 4 or 5 went. You're talking Peter.
You had Paris,
right even at 11.
Darnell.
You got Broderick Jones. You got
Did
Darnell
you see Broderick
Wright.
Jones when he was a freshman when you went up there?
I did.
Yeah.
He was a big kid then.
He's a big kid
now.
He's
a big kid now. Let me see.
Hendon Hooker.
Going to Washington. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, he's coming off the ACL injury. He's
an older guy.
Yeah, he's an older guy.
I don't understand why that's an issue.
I don't either.
Because
I don't
you
get
know
that.
his ceiling, really. Like,
do you?
I'm sort of speaking as if I'm a GM, but I would assume that's what they're saying. Like, he's Lamar Jackson's age.
Like the one
basically.
positive, like in other words, it's perceived as a negative, so he's going to try and turn it into a positive. And he said, and kind of like the transfer portal, you get a guy that has now some seasoning, some age to him, more mature, understands everything about, whatever, beyond football, the game of life.
But wouldn't you want that?
I get all of that. All I want is somebody who can complete accurately and on time.
Well,
that's literally all I want.
Right. But the whole idea is that if he goes up there and he plays through his first 5, maybe 7 years, something like that, at 25 years of age, he's only 32.
Right.
That's pretty good if he obviously is a good player.
So if he's a first-round pick, you're going to be trying to sign him again when he's 29. That's a problem?
I don't think so. Not when number. Hey,
I understand what you're saying.
He's not Chris.
It's not a problem about his next contract age. My point is that he is older.
So
we know
naturally
what
he's
he
closer to a
is.
ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like some of the younger guys, you
But
think
he's
he's going to be a higher
He
ceiling.
wasn't a super senior, was he?
He was. He's also getting better and better each year.
True.
To me, I look at it that way.
In other words,
like,
you know what he is now.
Yes, I see him as a guy who started out, messed around for a couple years at Virginia Tech, 3 years at Virginia Tech, and then he's only 5 years, JJ. So he played 5 years.
I also heard people questioning the offense that's ran at Tennessee and how it doesn't really
and I think that's
go
fair
to
too.
the NFL.
I think that's fair too. But it's
just use Hendo versus AR. Okay, one is shown signs of maturity with a lot of starting experience, and yes, he's 25, and the other one is a great unknown.
Here's the thing with the offense in Tennessee, and I don't disagree, JJ, but 98% of the offenses in college football are like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're all in a situation where you're
AR
not
was supposed to run.
Right, you're not exactly going to be getting a lot of press coverage. A lot of it is off.
Yeah.
Because that's how they cover in that game, because there's a lot of cover 4 because they can't cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other one jump out at you?
Joey Porter Jr. a legacy pick going to the Steelers. That's a nice little pick up there. Let me see. Jaguars, Brian Branch.
Yeah, that's the road scout. Danny Hicken made that decision.
He's listening to the echo chamber.
I hope he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Another safety.
I penciled in safety next
to
his
your
name.
thoughts on that? You got to give more than okay, because we can see you
Yeah.
And for the people who aren't watching on YouTube,
Yeah, they are watching.
they know that You're Okay was kind of like, what the hell was that?
Well, I mean, listen, I think we have more daunting issues to address, to be quite honest with you. It's probably a rush in, maybe tackle.
Yeah.
He's not a corner.
I see a guy that right now is at least has a little bit of concern speed-wise. He's a big, a physical guy.
4.53.
Yeah, and coach says he loves him as a football player, but he also kind of visualizes him as more of a safety.
He can't play the slot, can he?
He could.
I don't think he can, but, everybody else is saying he can. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. It'll be very interesting if they pick him.
All right, we got plenty more. One thing that we need to bring up outside of the draft is how much money the Nashville people are going to spend on a stadium coming up.
We also should probably get to some of the quotes coming out of both the Aaron Rodgers introductory press conference right now. Evidently, he says the reason things fell apart with the Packers is that he doesn't have good cell service at his house, but you can FaceTime him, and he never got any FaceTime.
That was the only reason.
Yeah, so yeah, that alone.
It's pretty good that he would say that. He's got some onions to say that.
That alone should make you want to stick around for a little bit more of XL Primetime.
Cruising with XL Prime Time in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Wonder what Dan Hicken would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
I wanna kiss you all over.
Dan Hicken.
And over and again.
Mornings.
Dun, dun, dun.
On 1010XL.
Honda has done it again with their all-new exciting SUV and truck lineup for 2023. HRV, Pilot, Passport, Ridgeline trucks, and our popular CRV hybrid. This is without a doubt Honda's most impressive lineup. Visit your local Honda dealer today. We're dealing.
Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial and residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights as well. 10-year workmanship warranty, financing available, military and senior citizen discounts, no subcontractors. Mention this ad at the time of the estimate and receive $500 off any new re-roof. Call Mark today, 982-4052, 982-4052, licensed and insured.
'Tis the season to be cool. Florida Home AC wants to make sure you're not cooked like a Christmas goose this summer. Make sure your AC unit is ready for the heat, and if it's time to look at replacement, look for quality and value. You'll get that from Florida Home AC. And right now, take advantage of $1,750 off a brand new heating and AC unit. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for all the details and trust a company that will always keep you cool. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, it's Prosser here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? Does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound about right now? Well, Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loans, consolidate all your payments into one check per month, and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Franchi Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Years ago, when Harrell & Harrell was growing, we had a decision to make whether we were going to grow into the state or even beyond. And we decided that we were going to stay here in this community in Northeast Florida, that it's staying here and not looking at where's the next place that we can go or how can we get bigger, because bigger is not necessarily better. This is our home, this is where our families are, this is where our friends are, and this is where we're going to stay. Offices, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville has some junk, and J-Dog is removing it. They're here to do the dirty work. You don't want to remove and dispose of large furniture or appliances yourself? Call J-Dog. Here now, proudly serving you, removing junk from your home or business. They can even handle small demolition projects, and they're still donating local items to veterans in need. So let J-Dog do the dirty work for you. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned and operated. JDog.com.
There's a new butcher in town. We're talking a vacuum marinating, sausage grinding, take and bake siding, value pricing, full service butcher. And our name is Southern Steer.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
The Jacksonville RV Stadium Show, brought to you by Travel Camp RV, is Wednesday through Sunday. Catch the XL Primetime crew live Friday from noon to 3. Lot J downtown at the bank. This weekend only, the Jacksonville RV Stadium Show, brought to you by Travel Camp RV.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
8 Sparky.
Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. And for unlimited time, your consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now 904-664-8217.
Your quick and easy solution for paying the lowest price on car insurance is Estrella Insurance. E to the T here, and start saving the big bucks and pay less today. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE and see for yourself. That's 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE or visit EstrellaInsurance.com.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, so here it is. Aaron Rodgers being introduced in New York as the Jets quarterback sporting the number 8. And here is the quote of the press conference. When asked about the Packers' attempts to contact him during the offseason, Aaron replied, "People who know me, I'm fortunate to live in a beautiful house. The only downside is I have very limited cell service. If you want to get a hold of me, I need to see your face. You have to FaceTime me." And he says he didn't get any FaceTimes.
Yeah,
from
that
the
is
Packers.
just, he is, so skilled at acting like it's not his fault while gigging the people who employed him and gave him all that love forever.
So they had bad bell towers.
Yeah, exactly.
He does by his house.
He does by his house.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
you got to
It's their
FaceTime.
fault. It's
No,
their
the-
fault,
the-
though.
the
And Brian
line
Gutekunst is
was-
like, we've reached out, we haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
And-
Right, well, the line is people who know me.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
other words, they don't know him.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, everything he says is not
But
by
Nate,
accident.
Nate Hackett,
But-
though, Nate Hackett knows him.
But guess what, Matt? Brian Gutekunst does know him, and he decided to wall him off. That's basically what he did, and says, "You're not going to get to me, and I'm going to blame my cell service." There's a reason why you couldn't get to me, because it was like being back in that cave in the darkness. And he wanted out. And look, the best clue we got was Nate Hackett going up there. It really was.
Meanwhile,
forget about all the other ones, the receivers and whatnot. That was the biggest clue.
Well, the funny part is the Denver Broncos basically hedged a bet hoping that he would follow Hackett to Denver, and that didn't happen, but instead it's the New York Jets. I apologize, 21-29. I would like to hear what Aaron Rodgers has to say, because I think it's hilarious that the Jets are literally trying to catch lightning in a bottle twice and then have it explode in their face, just like they did with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So we are going to listen to a couple more of these quotes from Aaron Rodgers, which also included, quote, "I noticed walking in here that the Super Bowl #3 trophy is looking a little lonely. Quote, I really believe that this is where I'm supposed to be. Quote, I'm an old guy. I want to be a part of a team that can win it all."
Yes, I understand Green Bay has many Super Bowl trophies, but you also only have one.
Only one, Aaron. And the other thing, did you notice on his goodbye Instagram post, he thanked all of his teammates, said nothing but love and da-da-da-da-da. Never really recognized the fans. Not in that post, which I thought was kind of interesting as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get some X-Files music up in here.
Rogers hates fans.
Come on, dude.
It doesn't matter. 5 years from now, they're going to retire his number
They will.
and his name in the stadium.
Yeah, because he said, "I'll see you soon."
Yeah,
I'll
you'll
be
see
back.
him soon. Yeah, he'll be back.
He'll probably do one of those one-day retirements.
Oh, yeah.
You know, retire as a Green Bay Packer.
Look, I'm not rooting for him because it's AFC, but he will be fun to watch. Always has been. This last year, it looks like those skills just diminished a little bit. But we'll see whether it was player erosion or whether he's going to get a set of players up there and become a superstar again. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. All right, I wanted to bring up the stadium up in Nashville because this is going to push the conversation here, I would expect, in Duval when it comes to a stadium. But they have approved up there in Nashville a $2.1 billion stadium project. And they know that downtown, it is non-stop growth. But the Metro Council has approved the Tennessee Titans' $2.1 billion stadium deal. And we'll find out whether or not, I think they're floating bonds for something like close to $800 million.
Well, look how much it costs to build a stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Rams/Charger stadium that was just built, 3 years ago, right? Opened 3 years ago or 2 years?
Yeah, probably 3. Probably already been 3.
SoFi?
It was
Yeah, it was. I think it might have been 4 years ago now. Yeah.
It was just over $2 billion. Everybody was saying, "Oh my God, $2 billion for a stadium." Now look.
Yeah, I don't even think there's enough. I don't think this $2.1 billion is enough.
In Nashville, $2.1 billion.
You roll downtown and you take a look at the Bridgestone Arena and all the stuff that's down there. It's incredible what's happening, and especially in that ville, and they're little shanties that are selling for $1 million. So that's going to be a lot of money.
The more you wait here, the more it's going to cost.
Oh yeah, it's got to happen at some point. The performance center's close to being done. That'll allow them.
And they're only, by the way, they're only asking for $600 million from the city. Only.
Yeah.
For the city and the county.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
the owners are taking care of the other 1.6
Yeah.
billion.
Right, which is probably a lot of what has to happen in today's.
I say only, but that's, if you think about it, that's the owner kicking in. How much of a percentage? 70, 60, 70?
Yeah, it sounds like it's 2/3. Yeah. A little more than 2/3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
By the way, SoFi did open in September 2020.
Yeah.
And apparently, it looks like they broke ground.
So 3 years
looks like
ago.
in 2016. Yeah, they broke ground November 2016, and then it opened September 2020. And you factor in the pandemic, but that's about 4 years. That's a brand new stadium, though. Again, here in Jacksonville.
They're also dealing with other things in that state.
Yeah,
Also that. Here, yeah, exactly.
No one without a mask
right,
is going to work
It's going to build a lot quicker
and the slip and slide. And the slip and slide. Don't forget that as well from the national championship game in college football. No, it should be noted that here in Jacksonville, the Bones, they have determined they are good.
Right.
And so it sounds like it would be more of a renovation than it would be a complete new stadium.
Yeah. All right, XL Primetime. We're going to roll through our 21st annual media mock draft before we are done, top to bottom. If you missed it, stick around. We will do that coming up on a Golf Club of Southampton Wednesday.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
Anytime Fitness Sawgrass is the preferred gym of yours truly, Mia O'Brien. Strengthen everything from calves to confidence.
Making the ride home a little more enjoyable.
You keep the crew happy and you can't go wrong, eh, Frank?
Well, that's the idea, sir.
The Frangie Show.
Oh, that's good. That's good fun.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by FIS takes the field this season at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after Sunday games. Call 358-2846 or jackshrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, and happy to report that Dandy has some brand new goodies, and they're only available at select Gate stores around town. 5 delicious new breakfast items to start your day off right. Fresh buttermilk biscuits, flaky croissants, French toast, maple waffles, all matched up with country sausage, ham, or bacon, fried eggs, and cheddar cheese. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so go out and make yours a Dandy just a little bit earlier tomorrow.
Got that hometown flavor creeping up on you. Yeah.
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the Farrah and Farrah phone line.
Next words out of your mouth are either going to be guilty or not guilty.
Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farrah and Farrah.
So please don't tell me what I know and don't know. I know the law.
On 1010XL.
Hey guys, I'm Daniel Heilman from the brand new Fourscore Golf Tavern. We do elevated food, drinks, and golf simulator fun. If you're looking for a delicious meal or maybe a spot for a client, we have lunch specials every day. Need to entertain a few people from out of town? Easy. Just reserve one of our 4 simulator bays. Lunch service starts at 11 a.m. daily. Located in San Marcos Square, we'll see you at lunch at Fourscore Golf Tavern.
That little indicator light has been telling you to get an oil change. For how long now? But you're busy, and auto service takes time. So how about hurry on over to a Famous Quick Lube right now? 13 locations open 7 days a week with super fast oil change service while you wait comfortably in your own car, starting at under $30. Now that's Famous. For fast, reliable oil change service at your convenience, visit Famous Quick Lube, servicing every customer like they're famous.
Round up a foursome of friends and test your aim to help kids succeed. It's the 5th annual Camp Deep Pond Clay Shoot, presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, supporting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. The fun takes place Friday, May 12th. You bring the team, and the Boys and Girls Clubs take care of the rest. Proceeds benefit Mackenzie's Camp Deep Pond, an outdoor spring break and summer camp experience for local kids and teens. Visit bgcnf.org/events.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Monahan Jewelers is your local family jeweler for 44 years with a huge selection of GIA certified diamonds, gold, fine gemstone and diamond jewelry, and designer brands from all over the world. With our interest-free financing, we make it easy to acquire the perfect gift. Monahan Jewelers also specializes in custom jewelry design with thousands of customers all across Jacksonville. Come experience our beautiful selection of fine jewelry at your local family jeweler, Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is the sports medicine leader in Northeast Florida. We're proud to be the official sports medicine provider for your hometown teams, including the Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, Armada, and the Jumbo Shrimp. We have the most cutting-edge resources for sports medicine care, including active armor casting, Alter-G anti-gravity treadmills, and highly trained physicians and athletic trainers. JOI is truly where the pros go, and so should you.
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative. Free promo tip. Put your logo on golf balls and give them to clients who are bad golfers. More hacks equals more exposure. Trust me, it's science. HardballCreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is XL Primetime, protected by Preferred Roofing on 1010XL.
So if the Aaron Rodgers introductory presser doesn't tickle your fancy on this fine Wednesday in Duval County, might I interest you in Deion Sanders going on the Pat McAfee show this afternoon? Joe, are you ready for some of the
I
comments
love it.
that were made?
If it's from John Dutton, I am fully in. I'm fully in.
Well, John Dutton wants you to know that.
AKA Dion.
Yes, correct. Quote, we already know what we got coming in. Y'all just don't know what we got coming in, courtesy of the transfer portal. They probably at the airport right now. He then goes on to say, when he was asked about, who these guys he's getting in the transfer portal are, when we release the list of guys that we already got coming in, everybody is going to say, oh, now I see what he's doing. He was then asked by Pat, when is the list coming? And he goes, soon, very soon. And finally, Deion Sanders finishes by saying, it's no way that I can put new furniture in this beautiful home if we don't clean out the old furniture.
It's honestly, I don't know what's going to happen to Colorado, but Leon, you listen to those quotes, you hear him. I mean, he is. He's breaking up Boulder.
Well, you got to understand the area in which Deion came from, all right? The straightforwardness of your head coach. Deion is cut from an old cloth. Your head coach would tell you would come into a meeting, sit down in front of him and say, Coach, why aren't I playing? And then the coach will say to you, you're not playing because either you're no good or you're not good enough,
right?
And maybe you should be asking yourself that question. I mean, that's the kind of I haven't been around Deion, haven't been in his office, but I know what kind of cloth he's cut from, and I know he's the proponent of you earning everything that you get.
Yep.
We don't give out participation trophies.
No.
And if you're not good enough to play here, you got to go.
No sprinkles on the ice cream.
You ain't got to go
stickers.
home. You ain't got to go home, but you got to leave here. That's all you got to do. And I can appreciate that because I grew up in that era.
Yeah.
I grew up in the
You
straightforwardness.
just quoted its closing time, which I love. You don't have to go home, but you can't.
You can't stay here. Absolutely. I mean, listen.
Not everybody gets a trophy.
Not everybody gets a trophy. Not everybody gets to win. There are losers involved in this game.
Yeah,
there are losers involved in this game that we
forget.
play football.
And there are consequences
to losing.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of them were on buses out of town before the buses of transfer portals come into town, because they were up to 18 as of yesterday, as those that entered the transfer portal.
Well, listen, when Deion stepped foot into that meeting, that first meeting that he had where he talked to him, it was a lot of kids in there right then and there knew if they could handle it or not. They were like, they either were going to call their mommy or they were going to stick it out. And a lot of them called their mommy, and a lot of them stuck it out, still going home.
Yeah, still.
Still going home.
In other words, they're willing to put the work
and that's
in, but they're not
okay.
good enough.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, you can go to a lower tier and play football, but at the Power 5 level, there's a consequences.
So, Matt, honestly, how successful can he be on? And let's just play the game that he sticks around there. Okay, that someone doesn't try and pluck him.
So I don't know that he will. That's the thing. I think eventually.
Yeah. You don't think he'll be successful or stick around?
No. I think he'll be successful. I don't think he's going to stick around. I think eventually there's going to be an SEC team that comes.
So give me.
Will his son still be playing football at that point?
His son will be gone after this year.
Yeah, he'll be gone. So let's just go 5 years crystal ball without him leaving. What could he do?
Without him leaving?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a Pac-12, but if there's a Pac-12, then yeah, he can win the Pac-12. Yeah.
So you're
how
saying a
long
conference
though? Like,
yeah.
He's not going to win it next year.
No.
No, they're going to win like 3 games next year.
I would think it would take
3 years time.
3-4 years.
Okay.
Because he's also, you got to remember, he's also going up against Lincoln Riley, who's going to get better and better there.
Oh yeah.
Lincoln's going to get. I think honestly that Lincoln's going to get to the. He may not win like Pete Carroll, but he's going to get the talent to that level.
Yeah, because he came in at Jackson State and he kind of put it on its ear, went out and kicked some butt, and really scored a bunch of points, made it fun, all that kind of stuff. But this is a major step up with other programs that have committed a lot of money.
Yeah,
to be competitive.
they're starting to spend money. They have an NIL collective now that's got there's a lot of money out there in Denver.
Like Yellowstone. There's a lot of money in Yellowstone too.
The
I did finish season 1 last night, by the way.
The 83 scholarships from last year's 1-11 team. There's 20 guys left. 20.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he's completely flipping the roster.
Well, he's doing up there what maybe Brian Kelly either did or dealt with in Baton Rouge, and we're going to find out whether Billy can do the same type of thing in Gainesville. Mario's coming up tomorrow on our show,
Mario's
trying to do the same thing down in
Yeah,
Coral
but
Gables.
listen, here's the thing: when you're a 1-12 team, I mean, the resort lifestyle that you've lived for, you got to go. You can never feel comfortable with playing in a 1-11 season. Everybody there at scholarship should be absolutely on the line. That's what Deion told them when that first press. He said, "Listen, y'all went 1-12. None of those seats that you're sitting in Are they reserved?
Yeah.
All right. There's the possibility that and that's not a possibility. We're going to get people to replace you. So if you want to hit the portal, hit the portal.
I'm bringing my luggage, and it's Louis.
And I have no problem with that.
Are you guys offended by his way of saying that?
No, because it's Dion.
Okay.
It's Dion being Dion.
I'm just saying other people are, and you know, if
He's
Nick
not for
Saban
everyone.
said that, people would lose their mind.
Right. I can't help but think authentic, organic, real, all that stuff.
Oh, I love it. I agree with it. I'm just saying, of course, there's going to be people that are like, oh, you're comparing players to a sofa.
Listen, in 1987, my freshman year at Miami, we had a bad scout team practice, right? So Jimmy Johnson brought all the freshmen in there and sat us in the meeting after we had a bad scout team practice, right? And Jimmy Johnson told us, I don't know why you feel comfortable here. He said, right now we're recruiting guys to replace you. He said, look to your left. He said, look to your right. Some of y'all are not going to be here next year. That was my freshman year. I had no cell phone, but I wanted to call my mama.
You did want to call her.
I didn't sign up for this.
And what's the difference between that and what Dion said?
Well, Dion did it to the media.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference between going in a room of your own players and saying that in a closed room.
But the
to go
expectations
on
were still
a
there.
YouTube show with hundreds of thousands of subscribers and be like, hey, these guys are old furniture. We're going to get them out.
Well, that's
Bring
what
in
it
new
is,
furniture.
honestly.
It's like, all right.
It's now you can deliver your message through social media back to your players because that's how they communicate. That's what they're paying attention to. And McAfee moves the meter as much as anybody. I don't need polish on Dion. I want Primetime as is. Come in there, shake it up, do what you want.
I need the content.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm here for it.
You have to have results on Saturday for it to ever work.
I can guarantee you that Colorado Buffalo writer that I just read the tweets off of. I mean, that dude hasn't had much to talk about and write about.
For years.
Similar to us before Urban and Trevor showed up. I'm not gonna lie. So hey, all news is good news. Speaking of news,
we were bologna phony sandwiches there for a long time.
I know, right? Well, you're just like I'm out here twiddling my thumbs, and there we go. Now all of a sudden everybody cares again. I do want to, before we take our final break, touch on last night's scores from around the association, as we are, I think, the de facto NBA show on 1010XL.
Trae Young's shot from distance was just unreal. And by the way, the last 5 minutes was all Trae Young. Every bit of it was Trae Young. He embarrassed Boston.
119-117. The Hawks force a Game 6 up in Beantown. Or actually, no, it'll come back down to the ATL, won't it, JJ? Yeah. Game 6 will be back in the ATL.
Yep.
So.
I assume so. And then
KD
to blow a huge lead like that. I mean, Boston's still going to win the series, but you don't want to have to play, 6 or 7 games when the Sixers swept the other series, and they're just hanging out, and Embiid's getting healthy.
Exactly. Embiid's just sitting back, just chilling, and hopefully not taking shots at anybody, and just basically getting healthy. But yeah, that was a damning loss in a lot of ways.
Well, let's go through. So 119-117, the Hawks beat the Celtics. 112-109, the Nuggets beat the T-Wolves. And then 136-130, Suns over the Clippers. That's a hell of a night.
Yeah, it was a lot of points. It really was. But and Booker was like the showcase guy last night. So it wasn't KD, but they're all
I told
vibing.
JJ when he's right, he's like top JJ 7.
Oh, absolutely.
6, 7
because
he's more him than
certainly
Tatum.
Offensively, yes.
He's more him than Tatum, just because he can go and turn into Jimmy Butler and go for 47 or 56.
And by the way, Tatum made bad decisions with the basketball last night. Jaylen Brown did. My man Marcus Smart definitely made some bad decisions. But, oh my God,
he might need to be benched.
What exactly do you do here?
I love his hair.
What do you do here?
Yeah, he does have gray hair, but Derek White's just better than him.
It's just unreal. All right, we're shoving off. We're going to say hello to the Francis Show. Big Sirs, thanks for working OT coming in the second half of the show.
No doubt.
Yeah. We will be back at noon tomorrow, but we'll say hello to the Francis Show coming up.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
The Internal Revenue Service is reported to be receiving $80 billion in additional funding for the 2022 tax year for unpaid tax enforcement. There has never been a budget increase this large in the history of the IRS. All of this funding is for more revenue officers and collecting delinquent taxes. If you owe the IRS, you have a short time to get your tax issues resolved or face financial devastation. J. David Tax Law is right here in Jacksonville and provides tax relief for all personal payroll and sales tax problems. They've achieved thousands of successful outcomes for their clients, and that's why their reputation speaks for itself. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, do your research to see why J. David Tax Law is the most effective option to relieve your tax burden. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777 or at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
From the edge of your radio to the edge of your seat. Showtime! Feel the excitement of live play-by-play.
And this place is rocking right now.
On 1010XL.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit Coastal Equipment today and go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Come to Bowden Eye for all your eye care needs. Hicken here. Did you know that diabetes is a leading cause of blindness and affects up to 34 million Americans? Please don't take diabetes lightly. If you have diabetes, see your favorite Bowden Eye doc and save your vision. Bowden Eye is dedicated to the protection and preservation of the treasured gift of sight. Bowden Eye & Associates. Visit today for your personal consultation. Keeping the First Coast focused. New location now open of County Road 210 in St. Johns County.
It's time to play Fix That Plumbing Problem. What do you do if you have a leaky pipe? Contestant 1.
Put a bucket under it?
That's it?
And maybe a towel?
Contestant 2. That's right! Just call the duck.
Clogged drains, leaky pipes to full repipes, just call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter. Commercial, residential, any plumbing issue.
When you're stuck, call the duck. 904-862-6769.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
This is Hacker. Join me for the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gator Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Mike Duraco here for Clearwater Irrigation and Drainage. Let me tell you, I had a bad standing water issue on my front sidewalk, and John Haney and his crew came in and completely solved it. Their service division fixed my sprinkler system, too. We all know these guys' singing is terrible, but their service is excellent.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. All right, Mike.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Now, the 2-minute drill. Brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping 1010XL rolling with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
Frangie Show on the road. They're in the SJC, St. Johns County over in Bartram. Island Wings, as they are holed up in one of their usual Wednesday spots. Frank Frangie joins us now. Frank, what's up?
I am just so glad it's here, Joe. That's what's up. You know that?
Well, let me tell you something.
Like we talk forever about the dang draft, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, but I love the fact that it wasn't Halloween when we started talking about it. That's the beautiful thing about this year.
Agreed.
But the thing I like this time, Frank, is that there's so many choices as opposed to, all right, it's down to these, one or two guys like it has been near the top of the draft.
Does it feel like for you guys that other than Bryce Young at 1, it's as wide open as it's been in years after that? Do y'all feel that way?
Yeah, because of the I think the unpredictability of the quarterbacks that we've been talking about, how Levis ran up, according to the odds makers, the board yesterday, what Anthony Richardson represents, which is the great unknown, what C.J. Stroud scored in the cognition test. I mean, it's all over the map, man.
Yeah, and I think, and this, by the way, I meant to rant about this the other day. I could give a damn what someone scores on a test. You know what? I thought that poor kid got humiliated, and I thought that was an awful thing. So we talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
So, but I just think it's finally wide open. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's I can't wait till we get there tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun day all day long tomorrow. We'll be on the network from 8 to midnight. I know Hayes will be down there. Mia's going to be down there. Graham will be down there doing a lot of social stuff. So, but I am fine. I'm glad it's finally here. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. Go ahead.
Here's what you need to know, though. The Road Scout decided, with all the opportunities and possibilities, to select one Brian Branch with the 24th pick overall. Your reaction?
Yeah, I think that's the one that's on. He made most mocks. I thought he was going to pick the guy from Mississippi State. Did he go away from that?
Emmanuel Forbes, yeah.
Yeah. Was he already gone or no?
No, he was not gone. And then
okay.
I was shocked when Gibby did his profile. Cat weighs 166 pounds. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but I guess that is. But, no, I'm not surprised by that. I think Branch is a guy that most people have mocked to the Jags, so I think that makes a lot of sense. So today on the program, we're going to obviously talk about the draft. That's kind of first and foremost. Also going to get into stadium renovations. You guys were talking a little bit, weren't you, Joe, about the fact that Nashville has agreed to its deal. If you saw the percentages of the deal, you got a pretty good idea. But let me tell you one thing that's different about all these other deals is there's state money.
Yeah.
I don't think we have state money, right? So we'll certainly talk about that coming up. Joe, did you watch the baseball game last night?
Yeah, but I spent back and forth time, watching the Celts and the Atlanta Hawks. So I was bouncing.
Okay, I didn't do any bouncing, Joe. Okay,
I know
you're clear about that.
Chris
we
Taylor,
were up 7-2 on your disgusting team. 7-2. We let a 7-2 lead get away.
Yeah.
So I'm not happy with that. I'm not particularly happy with. I don't like you all that much anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not particularly happy with that, Joe.
Well, Chris Taylor's one of my favorite guys, and he was in a slump, Frank.
Yeah.
And he decided to come out and get a few extra licks in the day before, and he paddled the Pirates.
Well, I hope we drop him first time up tonight. That's what I hope. So anyway, all right, I'll come it up in a minute. Thank you, guys.
Sounds
Thanks,
good, Frank Frangie, with the Dodgers taking the Pirates, which is great.
Coconut shrimp.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
Somebody lost a bet on that one. That's for sure.
Whoa.
Sad.
They are out.
Cancel the remote.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring the show back to this.
It's unbelievable. They didn't mention coconut shrimp, but they are right there at Island Wing in St. Johns County. Bartram, definitely head on over there and say hello to them. We had a great time. So everything as far as the mock has been posted. And we mentioned what the Road Scout Dan Hicken did. He selected Brian Branch with that 24th pick overall. And so it's all going to become real tomorrow. But media mock draft, Mia, it is on social. They can go to 1010XL and find it all over the place.
Yeah, we have them all tweeted out. I'll put together a graphic later.
Another thing on social, speaking of that draft pick, is y'all's roundtable discussion, and Matt was dogging the pick.
Yeah.
The Jags Twitter doesn't like that. Matt doesn't like that pick.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I mean,
they had some things to say. I love it. No need to apologize.
He's not a cover. He's a safety. Look on everybody's mock draft. They have him as a safety.
Yeah. When he does,
everyone.
Yeah, if he does do that well, I will be a fan, but it just won't necessarily be right away. Yeah, he might be a big athletic.
Right, if they
guy.
draft him as a safety because they want him to play safe, that's fine.
Yeah, going forward.
Don't tell me you're drafting him as a safety. He's going to play corner for you because he's not a corner.
We do post some of these just to, stir up the natives.
That's what I love.
Yeah. You got to. That's part of social media, man.
All right, we are out. Golf Club of Southampton. We say thanks to them. 287 play. You might still have time to get on the tee sheet. It fills up fast, but would love to see you this afternoon. 9-hole game, food, prizes afterwards. Chef Gary always cooking up something great, and they always want to make sure the golf course is great for you. So join me. I'll be out there with our 9 after 5. We are out. Joe C., Mia O'Brien, Matty Hayes, Big Search with the late show today in JJ. You got the Frangie Show coming.